16, the end of season 1. Oh my goodness! I am V Muse. I will be your DM for this evening. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and have all of my lovely players introduce themselves and tell us who they are before we jump into the thick of things. So I'm going to first start with a long time no-see gnome.
Hi! I freaking miss you all. So excited to be back. I am here to play Shreg, who is a kobold clockwork warlock thing. And I'm so excited because my voice hasn't strained in so long. So let's do this.
Oh my God, right? Like, let's just jump back into that voice that
Yeah.
It's cool. All right, next up we have Michael.
Hey folks, my name is Michael St. Clair. I play Gervain, who is a Carav Wander human variant, and he is a Ghost Knight, which is in Midgard Heroes book. I'm fresh off the slopes of Mount Spokane, so I just went skiing for the first time, so I'm just trying to eat some food. If you see me eating food and drinking beer, I'm just trying to nourish myself post-ski, so kind of hashtag burrito stream. Anyway.
Yes, that works. Don't pass out. Really don't want that happening. And then we have Torn Pixie.
Hi, I'm Torn Pixie, and I'm gonna be playing Aelgalith, who is our Light Eater, Shadow Fae Warlock Druid. Cause hey, let's complicate things with more classes. Yes. So yeah.
I see nothing wrong with a multi-class. We're good. Jumping down below to Jim. You're muted,
I am still
darling.
muted. Yes, I am. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I'm so glad we got a full house tonight. This is going to be awesome. I am Jim Davis of WebDM and playing Slain this evening, currently Trollcan Ranger, but, who knows what he'll do to get out of trouble. So, yeah.
It's
and you guys took her drinks way before Slain ever accidentally roped you into this. So, come on.
We're picking back up with where we left off before we got cued in. Great.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like no time passed at all.
No, absolutely not. All right, Kai, you're up, my dear.
Hey, I'm Stonefly Kai, and I'm playing Zira, the pie-loving, sword-dancing halfling fighter.
Beautiful. And last but certainly not least, Jesse.
Hello, I'm Jesse, at Jesse Neon. I'm going to be playing Maurice, the Pantheist Priest Cleric of the Dragon Empire.
Ooh, amazing. So tonight, because 'tis the season for giving, and it's also sort of something to celebrate, everyone tonight is going to be getting the extra HP, but I'm giving you 5 points HP extra. Okay, so add that into your temporary HP. You get 5 of that. That's my gift to you from me as your DM. And then, to top it off, you're each getting an inspiration. Okay? So you each get inspiration and the 5 temporary HP. Get that onto your sheets now. And forgive me.
I understand it's the season of giving, and it's the season finale, but there's just a little alarm going on.
It's like when you get up a list of potions before you see the final boss. Your alarm is there's a treasure chest.
There might be a little something like picking up right there. But basically what I'll do is I'll just quickly go over what happened in our last session. It was they've returned to the Grove of Eternal Autumn. They did have a chance to talk with everyone, and everyone included Baba Yaga, and the truth came out that Slain has kind of been working with her and doing things for her. However, he's sort of in the timeout chair because he stole something from her and left Henrietta in its place. We also discovered that Henrietta is not dead. No, Henrietta's been keeping Baba Yaga company, and she has actually offered to the group a deal that she wants them to consider, because it turns out that this entire time she has been watching them, testing them, trying out their mettle to see how they handle everything. Because here they are sitting in the Eastern Margreave, And for her, the Eastern Margreave is a very threatening aspect because of the little bit of lore that as soon as the heart grows in the Eastern Margreave, the reign of a very powerful witch will end. Which for her doesn't take much creative thinking to put two and two together. It was also revealed at this time that Gypsophilia is one of the 37 creatures in the Margreave, Eastern Margreave area, who most likely has one of the shards of the Eastern Margreave heart. A heart which had been shattered with the aid of Mama Rihanna and some of other Baba Yaga's daughters. So Mama Rihanna had once been Avila. So in return for helping out Baba Yaga, she got her mortality, which she had always wanted. The deal was she has to help Baba Yaga find the 37 shards if possible. Now these people are very important because Baba Yaga actually wants them to stay alive. So when she found out that Gypsophilia was dead, let's just say it was rather important to keep Gypsophilia alive. So we basically had it where the group is sort of on tenterhooks, trying to figure out what to do, where to go from here. We had a conversation with Maurice, Slane, and Aowell about what to do in terms of getting this state of the broken stone at the dead druid run. How are they going to fix it? Who the sacrifice is going to be and everything like that. How are they going to get this to re-strengthen itself? Some very interesting observations and offerings did come up in that conversation to the point where Aowell was debating whether she herself should take the role of the druid, making that ultimate sacrifice to keep the vampiric powers at bay. And then on top of that, we had it where everyone sort of tucked in for the night, and upon waking in the morning, you were quickly called out by Cal. You noticed that the longhouse was completely empty, and as you run into the open area, you saw all of these LC basically battling on the edges of the forest. This crimson mist that had made its way into the Grove of Eternal Autumn. And as you stand there, you hear the clashing of weapons. You hear the cries of your companions, the friends that you've made in the grove, screaming out to one another as they are trying to battle this mist that seems to hover in the darkness of the forest edge, as well as other creatures that seem to have made their way more into the open clearing. The smell of blood is potent. It fills your nostrils. And you stand there thinking, how did we get here? How did we come here so quickly? It wasn't that long ago we were standing together in that tavern having our first meal as a group. And now here you stand, facing this monstrosity with a huge responsibility on your shoulders. And as you stand there thinking and wondering what is going on, we're going to fade on our 5 heroes standing in the grove. And as we come back into focus, we find ourselves with a big burst of light happening. And as the light dissipates, this tiny little kobold is standing there with a dodecahedron in hand, looking at it rather perplexed and caught off guard, because as far as they knew, last they were standing at the campsite trying to figure out if they could get this new spell to work. And the last thing they heard were their companions shouting your name in confusion, Shreg. And as this burst of light calms down, you blink furiously, trying to gain focus. And you realize you're in this cave-like enclosure. You hear the dripping of the water in the distance. There's this dank feel to the air. It smells earthy, but then there's also sort of a musty library smell mixed in with it. There is light. It's not dark. There's some torches that are flickering off and on, so the lights do dance in shadows across the walls of the cavern. And as you look around, you'll notice glinting here and there of metal. And if you take a closer look, you see it is various sizes of gears that seem to be working in tandem, driving each other forward like a great clock. And as your eyes follow these gears, you see it leads up and over to this area that seems to be lit from an opening above, actually the main source of light beyond the torches in this cavern. And there is a clock-like object at the very back of this cavern. In fact, it's many different clocks. All seem to be keeping different times, some even with different hour counts. Some clocks read 14, some read 3, some read 5, and there are a few with the 12 hours. And it's very quiet outside of this ticking sound of all these clocks and the dripping of the water in the distance. And you notice there's spider webbing up in the corners. And it's not that it's messy, but these webs definitely have collected here and there. And if you go up closer to one that's about your level, they almost seem to have these gear-like patterns to them as well. Not the traditional spider webs you would see out in nature. What would you like to do standing at the edge of this hidden cavern that you have suddenly found yourself in?
Oh boy. I definitely want to reach out tentatively to maybe touch the web. I've never seen something like that before.
Okay, so go out and why don't you give me an investigation? Investigation roll. Lovely.
First roll of the night, baby. Nat 20s, 24.
Ooh, loving it. That's beautiful. Okay, so as you touch this web, you realize that the web itself doesn't have the sticky feel of traditional spider web. In fact, your finger doesn't stick, and it's extremely strong like a spider web is. But then you realize it almost feels like metallic thread. And there's actually a shimmer to it as you pull your hand away as it shifts in the light. And you see a little spider come crawling out and just sort of standing there. If you take a closer look at this spider, it too is made up of gears and little metal bits. And it almost has this mechanical sound to it as it's shifting its limbs.
Mm-hmm.
Type of sound. It sort of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What would you do?
I was gonna say, like, I'll probably like get down even like closer to it, just kind of like smiling at it because this is incredible. Where's Lane? Where's Gervain? You guys should see this. But they're not here.
You hear your voice echoing in this cavern, bouncing off. And there's a slight echo to it. Slane, hey, hey, hey. Gervain, hey, hey. And nothing else. Yours is the loudest sound being made in this room right now.
Oh. So I'll be really, really quiet. I'll stand up. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, the spider sort of clacks its way closer to you as you're asking these questions, and it kind of tilts its head, and you see it does have the 8 eyes, but the 8 eyes are almost these jewel-like inserts of rubies, as opposed to the usual red eyes you would see in a natural spider.
Wow. I'll stand up and kind of like maybe hold out my my dodecahedron towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Like to I don't know. I don't even know why. It feels like maybe a form of communication with it.
Okay, animal handling or persuasion? I'll let you pick.
Whew. I don't think any of those are good.
Well, you know, hey, I'm trying here. I'm trying for you.
Persuasion's the better one. It's charisma. We'll go with that.
Okay.
That's a 15.
Okay, great. So with the 15, you hold out this dodecahedron, and this little spider, it clacks its way onto one of the surfaces of the dodecahedron, And it sort of just perches itself on there, and then it sort of does like this little hunker down move so that its legs are tucked up and folded, and its little body is resting down, belly against the side as well. And it just sort of sits there
Cool.
looking at you.
So I'll cast Mage Hand and just kind of like
Okay.
carry the dodecahedron with the spider on it now, and just kind of start walking around the area.
Sure. So
trying
are
to
you
see
taking a
what's
closer
there.
look at it? Sure, then
Yeah.
let's do investigation. All right. Investigation then, please.
Okay, that's an 11.
An 11. So as you're walking around. Sorry, that's a different character. Walking around this cavern, you're actually noticing that I have a cat who's trying to invade my personal space. You're noticing that there's more of these gear-like webs in the various areas, and many of these webs have become a part of this gear system, almost as they're carrying power to the different sections of the gears. And you will see different spiders clattering around as well, and they will stop and they will look at you, especially once they see your little companion on your dodecahedron. And their eyes vary. Some do have those ruby reds, some have the vivid blues of a sapphire or the intense yellows of topaz. A few even have just these clear, bright, sparkling, diamond-like eyes that flash in any lighting possible. And they vary in sizes, but they're definitely all spider-like creatures. And it appears to be their job to go around and make sure that the mechanisms that are feeding into this massive clock collection in the back of the cavern is functioning properly. And as you get closer to that back area, you do see it's not just this huge wall of various clocks that are ticking away. You see that there is a rocking chair that's tucked to the one side. And there's this very beautiful tapestry of a blanket that's thrown over the back. And there's a basket with knitting needles and yarn. You see that the yarn has been stabbed by a pair of the needles as if in the middle of someone's work. And there's a desk on the other side with a rich velvet chair sat in front of it. It looks quite comfortable. And there are notes upon notes piled on top of this desk, along with some scrolls tucked in the back, and a few books and this beautiful set of pens, all with these interesting mechanical buttons to them. You're not quite sure what they would do, but you do see that there's a little bit more technical detail to what would have normally been a simple structure.
Okay. Can I go up to the desk then? Is there a bell? Like a ringing bell?
Oh, that's a very
Or is it
good
just like
question.
somebody's like personal desk? Because as far as I know, there's just like all these spiders and nobody responded to Shrek yelling.
Okay, so you go to look for a bell and you don't see a bell.
Okay.
What you do see is a triangle, like a musical triangle almost. It's this triangular shape. It is dangling from an arm that's near the desk, and hanging from the other side of it is this sort of wand-like object.
Okay. I will go ahead and carefully, tentatively pick it up and just ding.
Okay.
Hit it.
So as you hit the triangle, you hear this bong, and it gets louder and it starts to reverberate and it begins to echo on itself. And then just when you think it can't get any louder and the echoes building upon themselves, it gets very quiet again. And when you look down, your little spider friend's no longer floating on the dodecahedron.
I'm sorry, friend. You probably had to go back to work. Sorry. Hello?
No, but
Hello?
I appreciated the ride. It was quite helpful.
Oh.
And you hear this voice coming from behind you.
I spin around.
Okay. And as Shrek spins around, they see standing in front of them this woman, and she has a pair of arms sort of folded across her chest, a second set of arms on her hips, and a third set of arms folded down in front of her and resting mid-thigh. And she just is looking at you with a smile on her face. And her clothes are these beautiful garments. They're very well made, woven of the very best of the best possible. And she has various pouches. And there are these interesting little bits of mechanical bits sort of sticking out of a few of them. You see that there's even sort of these gears that she's used to kind of help keep her belt better cinched up. And she's smiling at you knowingly.
Hello. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to intrude.
Excuse me.
I did this. I didn't mean to like barge in. I just kind of got here, I didn't touch anything. I promise, except for the spider. But like they were just really friendly.
Well,
Please
you
don't hurt
have
me.
a friendly face. Darling, I'm not going to hurt you. I brought you here.
Okay.
Matt brought
What?
you here for me. Shrek, dear. I've been keeping my eye on you ever since you found my little trap.
Well, are you Rava?
She gets this big grin on her face. One of an old friend finally making connections with another who realizes, oh yes, it's you. Indeed I am, little one.
Shrek's face is just illuminated, just like meeting an old friend. They have dedicated however long they've been on this journey to understanding this dodecahedron and listening to the whispers of, Rava, and just trying to understand the multiverse that is constantly flowing, shifting, and changing. Here's the creator, the organizer, the conductor of it. Oh my God, it's Rava! Hi, I'm Shrek.
Hello, Shrek.
I like your work.
know. And I like your work too. You've been working rather hard lately, haven't you?
Oh, yes. But not just me. All my friends that are involved too. They're trying to help
Yes.
people.
So I see. And that's why I had that bring you to me. Would you care to sit? I think you and I need to have a conversation about you and your friends.
Yes, of course.
Wonderful.
go
Tell
ahead
you
and
what, why don't you sit in this? And she's going to start dragging that red velvet chair over to the rocking chair. And she'll turn it so they're sort of facing each other in a conversational layout.
Mhm.
You sit in here while I sit and continue with my weaving. All right?
Of course.
Are you hungry or thirsty? Is there anything we can get you?
Oh, no. I'd like to know if my friends are okay.
At this very moment, they're on the cusp. Some concerning things have been happening in the Margreave, and I have seen it for myself. And I am all for the greater plan, the greater design, and how everything should work out. You help me with that, as do the others who worship me. But I am worried, Shrek, for what is happening right now in the Margreave with your friends was not part of the plan.
Oh no. What did? Is it something that we did? Is it something the forest did?
It's nothing that you or any of your companions have done. It does have to do with someone else's greed and powers beyond their control. A path was opened that wasn't meant to be.
Well, should we? Do we need to close this path? Is that what you want us to do?
The path will need to be closed, yes. And it will take the work of you and your companions to stop the events from continuing.
What events?
Time's different here. Time's going by faster down there than it is here. When I send you back, you're going to find yourself needing to make some decisions. There's going to be a fight. There's going to be a sacrifice. Both will need to happen. In order to stop
Okay.
what's happened here, this path that got open that shouldn't be there, the battle must play out. And the sacrifice does need to happen, but maybe not in the way they think. The Margreave is not my realm, but it is affecting others who are in my realm. I called you here to me to provide you a little bit of help, but you must be careful with it.
I promise I will be whatever you need.
You've kept that safe and with you since you first discovered it with your sister. It's a tricky little device, but it seems to like you.
I like it.
Good. Keep it. Keep working with it. It works differently with each of its owners. As long as your heart's true to me, you should be able to figure it out as you go along. But I have something else you need to take back with you. And you need to protect it. And it needs to be your decision when to use it. And she's going to put down the knitting she's been working on with the one pair of arms. The other pair of arms have been sort of expressively describing things. And the final set of arms have just been lying in her lap, folded, hand over hand. And as she takes that set of hands, you see that they are going through one of the side pouches on her belt. And she pulls out this little pouch of white velvet, pulled with a golden cord shut. In here, you will find something to assist you at a time you feel it'll be of the best use. And she reaches over and she holds it out towards you, Shrug.
Okay. I'll tentatively reach my hand out for it, and before accepting it, what if? I mean, first off, what is it? What does it do? And what if I don't make the right choice when to use it?
If you open the bag, you'll see what it is, and then I'll explain what it does. And then, my dear Shreg, you need to trust in your own voice that you will know. You have known so far what to do to help others. Don't let the doubt creep in.
Okay. Take the velvet bag.
Okay? And you open it up?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah,
It's
totally.
Shrek.
I'll put it back.
Just like a quick little peek, you know.
Okay. So as you do a quick
Curiosity,
peek, you
it will
see-
kill them eventually.
You'll see a flash of bronze and notice these two pointed ears sticking out of the top of the bag that you've just loosened the opening to. And this bag fits in the palm of your hand. It's not a large object. It fits nicely
Okay.
into your little kobold hand. So you
Okay.
take it out, Okay. As you take out this object, you realize that pinched between your fingers is this figurine of a little rabbit with long pointed alert ears, standing on its hind legs with its paws sort of tucked in this expectant position. And on its belly is a clock with all these little gears locked into each other, some spinning, some rotating. But you can see that the clock is keeping time with the 12-hour clocks that you're used to seeing. And there is a little chain that's sort of attached to it, so you could feasibly wear it around your neck if you wanted to.
Oh, well, of course we'll do that.
Hey, why not?
I feel like you know, in Shrek's mind, the scene, the encounter with the rabbit from before that they had seen, just kind of like almost adds additional confidence in holding this item as they put it around their neck and kind of tuck it, you know, underneath their cloak for safekeeping.
I'll do my best to carry out your wishes and to make sure that all of the paths are restored to the way that they should be.
She looks at you with a smile. You recognize my friend, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were really
Somehow,
nice.
they're good to me, and they'll be good to you when you need them, but only for one time. That little
I
friend.
understand. Mm-hmm.
Good. When the time comes, press its ears down so that they lie against the back of its head. Then you and 5 companions of your choice will be able to move freely while the rest of the world stays frozen for an hour. This can only be done once. And when the hour is over, its ears will perk back up and it'll turn back into its white form and hop away. After that, the charm is done. Time will continue as if nothing had happened for the others who are frozen. But depending on what you've done, you will have changed the path.
Okay. No pressure. No pressure at all. It's fine. If I mess up, you're Rava. You'll have somebody else come and fix the paths too. It'll be fine.
You can do this, Shreg. I have faith in you as you have faith in me. And you have very powerful friends with you. When you work together, there is more. They are. If Baba Yaga has done something right, it is at least pulling the 6 of you together. But do not tell her I said that.
I will speak of no such thing.
Good. And as odd as it sounds, she may be of use to you. So do keep that in mind.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
you're very welcome, my little friend. Do you feel ready to return to your companions?
Shreg will reach down and kind of like feel the outline of the rabbit, you know, wrapped around their neck, and just nod a couple times.
Yes. We can do this.
Then she's going to kneel down in front of you and just sort of cup your little kobold face in one set of her hands and another pair of hands are going to rest on your shoulders. And the final pair is going to sort of collect themselves here as she speaks to you. Follow your heart, Shreg. It's guided you well this far. But be ready. Things are going to get harder before they get easier. But I know it's in you. And you'll feel the touch on your shoulders growing cool, and almost as if you're feeling spiders sort of crawling along your skin. You realize that there's almost this aura of an armor with gear accents and different metals just sort of hovering above your skin. And as it completes itself, it just sort of flares a little bit and then fades into your everyday garment. And she just casts mage armor on you.
Okay.
I can at least give you this before you go.
Thank you. It's beautiful.
It only lasts for so long. But I hope it helps you. And if you're
You
ready,
already helped me so much.
and you help me every day, good luck to you, Shrek. And if you need me, do call out, and I'll see what I can do from my end.
I will. Thank you. We'll make sure that the path is closed.
Good. Right what's gone wrong, and at least things should be better for the Grove once it's done.
Okay. We can do that. We will do that.
You will. And she'll smile, and she'll take one of the hands that's been placed alongside your cheek, and she's going to place it onto the dodecahedron. Is that still floating in your mage hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. She'll guide it so that it rests in your actual hands with her one hand on top. And you'll see this light emanating from her fingertips. And you see that this light comes out from her fingertips and bleeds into the various runes on this object. And they all begin to glow the same color. And they start pulsing with the ticking of the clock. And the next thing you know, there is this bright flash of light. And as it dims down, you blink furiously, and you see that you are in this very large house, very long and wooden. And it comes to you that this is the longhouse that you saw of the Alcides before you went back to check out the stones, but then suddenly you were drawn away. And as you turn to face the door, you see the sunlight pouring in and 5 familiar silhouettes standing not too far from the threshold.
Okay. I think I would run towards them. You know,
Guys!
Where have you been?
Okay. You're not gonna believe this, but look.
and like I'm gonna show them like the my dodecahedron. Is it still remotely illuminated, or it has like just returned to its normal state?
It's still doing the ticking pulse that it had been in the cave, but with each tick, the light gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer till it goes back to how it normally looks when it's not doing much of anything.
Okay.
That's really
Wait.
cool.
You were
are
gone
are
for-
you the real Shrek?
Yeah.
Are you the Shrek? Where did you meet me?
Where did we meet? In the forest, right?
Yeah, running from like
What?
arms or something.
Wow, it's been a long time since we went that far. Oh,
What
goodness.
kind of animal do I have?
They're a fake. Kill them.
Oh, well, we met with the boars. You have a really big, scary, but really nice cat.
It's a cat, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Cool.
My second follow-up question, if no one asks it, because this has been a thing since you've been gone. I think this is Shrek. Are we all agreeing this is Shrek? Everyone?
Well, it,
Oh, yeah,
Shrek.
I never doubted in the first place.
Follow-up question. We have had some party members who have gone away and made promises to people in the past that we didn't know of. Have you also done the same thing?
I mean, you don't even have to just like not talk about me. I'm right here, Jermaine. Also, like you
Sure, it
took
was
drinks from
Slane.
her.
Sure, it was Slane.
oh, yeah, totally.
Okay, what did we promise?
Well, see, Rava took me through here, kind of like through time, through like the whole clockwork thing. We may not have enough time to like really understand and explain how that works, but I did promise that we would close a path.
Okay,
yeah,
Slane,
yeah.
okay, slow down. One question. Is any of us... do you promise any of us had to do something for said person? That's my only question.
All of us have to close the path. She's been
Sure,
watching
That's better than mine. Like at least you had a choice. You know, at least she gave you a choice. And also, I didn't ask you to do anything. I'll do a Shrek. It's good.
Wait, Slade, you made a promise? Who'd you make a
Yeah,
promise to?
go
I
ahead and
actually
fill
broke
in.
several promises myself. I didn't make any promise myself. I just well, no, that's a lie. I did. I made a promise to a pumpkin-headed guy, and I stole his light back from Baba Yaga, and I left Henrietta there with him. You know, where they're, you know, because I figured like she'd talk to Henrietta and Henrietta talk to Baba Yaga, and they'd all sort things out. But that didn't happen, and. But you know, like Baba's, you know, she's over there, you know, or was earlier, and you know, she wants us to like protect some people, like find them, like 36 of them in the forest. You know, after we deal with this vampire mist thing.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick.
We should totally do what Baba
Goddess
Yaga
inside that
says.
thing? Oh yeah, no, for real though, right? Because she's like she knows everything.
It looks like we're stuck in a bunch of promises.
Sure.
I would be very happy
It's gonna
to
be
fulfill
true.
these promises. Number 2, I would like for everyone in the group to discuss things before we start promising things of this group. The next time you see a jack-o'-lantern, a squash heart, you know, cauliflower toes, don't care who it is, we got to make sure that the rest of the group has some autonomy.
Sure. I haven't made any deals yet, so you're
Autonomy
right on,
is so
Jermaine.
different when like your life is pretty much already predetermined, and then somebody comes and kind of like
What?
shifts the path a little bit.
That's-
It's really complicated.
so-
I love you guys. Oh, man.
And this is where you
I look at
can
Czar.
Jordane's brain.
I look at Czar and I'm just like, we're gonna get the hell out of here once these promises are done. I hope you know that.
We're going to get as fast as we can. So, as Maurice, as you hear Shreg chattering on about how they've seen their goddess and how she has given them something to work with, your mind works its way back to last night and your own moment vividly recalling you're reaching out to not just one, not just two, not just three, or four, or five, but all six of the deities to whom you've pledged your allegiance, in hopes that one of them, maybe more, might be of some assistance. And as we go back to that scene, what are we seeing?
So late at night, Maurice would have kind of found his way into the hallway. Sort of, you know what, actually probably fairly close to where the Alcide horns of the exiles are hung, just because nobody really goes there. It's quiet.
No.
He would have laid out his prayer mat, and he would have knelt down, and rather than just simply beginning to pray, he would actually have kind of like reached in towards his chest and pulled it open, and then begin to quite literally lay himself bare, taking out components where he can and arranging them on his prayer mat, doing his best to arrange them in such a way that the components form the different symbols of the different deities, all kind of scattered around him on the prayer mat. And as he does this, he knows he doesn't need to breathe, but it's still a gesture that's ingrained into him a little bit. So he kind of, his chest rises and falls. No air goes in or out, so there's no sound, but it's still a sigh. And he begins to cast the mightiest augury that he ever has in an attempt to appeal to not one, not two, not three, but all six of his deities. Eyes closed, hands essentially down on his knees as he's pretty well emptied out, looking almost like a skeleton at this point. As many components as he could have removed, put out before him. Start to pray, essentially. I do not know how many of you are listening right now. It is my hope that all of you can hear me. Tomorrow, we face what may perhaps be our largest opponent so far. I fear not for myself, but for my friends. Specifically, Yalgas. She has planned to sacrifice herself in an effort to stave off this vampire lord. I do not want this. She is a good person. Surely, someone such as I could find a way to take her place, could interrupt the ritual, could channel all of the powers that you have all offered me to do something, anything, besides let my friend die like this. Please, I'm begging you, any of you, all of you, please.
And as you sit there, you hear the cloven footfalls of some Alcide who are keeping their vigil around the longhouse. You hear in the distance, down in their room, Finium pacing nervously as he's been doing, back and forth. You can only imagine that he's been keeping an eye on Gypsophilia, as well as Federata, who's now made a point to stay in her parents' room to help keep vigil over her mother. You can hear the sleepy breaths of your companions, a slight snore coming from whom you must guess is Mama Rihanna from the that wraps it up. And as you look out this window that seems to be purposely built to light these horns, these antlers, as a means of warning, you notice that the light will focus on a position of where, quite frankly, the next set of antlers would go. And as this light further shifts, it almost looks as if the wood grain starts to weep sap. And it rolls down in rivulets in the way a wound would bleed when freshly cut. And as you blink your eyes, as quickly as you saw the light shift to that open space, and this, what should have probably been sap, but looked more like blood, starts to roll down the wall as if it was back to normal. Nothing changed. But you feel within you this sense of the presence of many, but not all. I'd like you to roll me a d6.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm using my real dice for this. Can't handle it. I can't handle it. Oh, God, only a 1. It's a 1.
Okay. And as you sit there trying to figure out from the sense of these presence among you, one becomes far more acute, pushed itself to the front, and is making itself known. So let's roll and see which of your gods is now taking over and whose form you will be taking on.
Oh, what did I get? What did I get? I should have this table memorized because I made it up, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap. It's the mother flippin' Lord of the Apocalypse, Velas.
Okay! Now, but wait, didn't you have Velas before?
I had him 2 weeks ago. If you want me to re-roll it, I'll do it. I'll do it.
You have to, because it has to be beyond 2 weeks. Okay,
Yes,
so re-roll
thank
that one.
God.
You can't use Velas. You can't do Velas.
Let's not have the end of the world. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, it's spinning for so long. It's a 7 again. Okay. It's a 5 that time. 1, 2. Kespotan, God of Knowledge.
Okay.
Haven't done that one at
All right.
all.
No, this is a new one. That's good. So, describe to us what this looks like as this God of Knowledge feels the need to push themselves forward and help you out.
So, as Maurice senses Kespotan moving to the forefront of his, I guess, divinities, he kind of nods very solemnly to himself and begins to reassemble himself manually this time, but he intentionally leaves his chest open and actually kind of straightens out some of the ribs so that they form almost these sort of tiered shelves upon which he then reinserts the different kind of internal components. So you can actually see them all now functioning on the outside. Effectively, he has made himself more or less inside out, and actually has kind of a funky similarity. All the gears and all of the mechanisms are visibly ticking, and so he's almost comparable to being dressed as a giant clock at this point.
Okay, very cool. And after you've performed this, after you feel this new form take on, you know with certainty what is ahead of you is both weal and woe, though you are not sure exactly as to what for sure will be one or the other.
Maurice would just nod very solemnly and roll up his prayer mat and effectively head back to his room. He has a lot, and I mean a lot, to ponder on right now.
And as you head back to your room and you walk in and do your usual nightly ministrations of making sure your gears stay well oiled, because you know that Margreavian rust effect, you finally have gotten a hand on thanks to the help of Faye and a few of the other Elseed who have grown to like you. And also seems having Mama Rihanna around has assisted in that as well. And your mind comes back again to the forefront, standing amongst your friends, hearing this battle starting up in the distance, seeing Shreg return to you, and Shreg as well talking about their own god, Rava, stepping in to assist all of you. Now, mind you, they haven't noticed your change yet either, darling.
Maurice
So everyone,
will try to make a... Oh, sorry.
I'm going to say everyone do a perception check, because here you are, all amped up and focused on what you're seeing further down the way. This crimson mist that's hovering in the shadows of the edges of the forest. These Elseed in more of the middle, fighting these various creatures who you can vaguely make out, but there is still some fog in the air because of the morning.
15.
Let's see. 15? Okay.
12.
12.
9.
7.
7. Okay. Okay, so for those of you who got an 11 and above, you see that Maurice has changed. The others who did not, well, you're more focused on either Shreg's reappearance or looking into the distance, concerned about what is starting to pan out so early in the morning and so much sooner than you had hoped.
Maurice, did you get a haircut?
Well, I suppose you might liken it to a haircut. Just a little change.
Oh.
Nothing major.
I don't even know how to react to this, and that's me. You got more than a haircut.
Well, same as always, darling. A little different on the inside, a lot different on the outside.
Are you who are you worshipping now? Worship?
You could say worship, I suppose. And Maurice is going to, like, kiss his fingertips and hold them up. Currently, I happen to be practicing the ministrations of Kespotan, god of knowledge, arcana, history, many things. I prayed to all of them, hoping that I could get some guidance, some kind of direction. And well, I suppose you could say I found it.
Yeah.
Is everything okay with you? Seem to be staring a lot and your eyes are a little big.
You know, I'm good. I'm just trying to figure out the new you.
That's the secret. Same me every time. Just the tubes, you know, comes out sounding a little different.
I kind of wonder if I can do that accent too.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Oh dear God, help me! I'm gonna have to curb going into that accent. So as Zira and Maurice are having this conversation, the rest of you sort of start doing that slow turning and realizing he's looking a little different. This is a new look. Any of you care to add your reactions to this?
Okay there, Maurice.
Everything's fine, Gervain. Thanks for asking, though. How you
Is it all right? All right, all right.
I'm doing good. What god are we serving today?
God of knowledge, one and only. Kespotan.
Okay.
He reveals to
Any
me what
promises?
needs to be seen.
Any promises of the new god?
Nothing I'd worry about myself.
Okay. I'm gonna take
First,
Zira. At
Would
some
you
point,
like
I'm
to do
gonna
an
take Zira
insight
to the
check or
side.
anything like that on him? Gervain,
Sure.
you are the promise keeper tracker upper. Oh god.
So is that an insight you said?
Yeah.
11.
All right. As far as you can tell so far, all of your companions have pretty much told you everything they know.
It's all good.
At some point, I'm gonna take Zero to the side.
Okay.
I would happily, because I'm like, I don't even know how to handle everything that's going on right now.
Zero, fighter frontline meeting. Just real quick.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a good club. I'm there.
Yeah, the Pie Tank Club, obviously. PTC, you know. We always have it on lock. Okay,
My
so
partner in crime.
yeah, partner in crime. No, partner in crime. I'm about this. Okay, so between the two of us, our deity is only known to be Pi, right? We have that in common.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing any of this. I kind of think it's a little crazy, but I'm not going to say that. So
We have like 4 promises right now and we weren't even told.
I mean, I don't really have anywhere else to go right now. So
I mean, okay, I understand that. I'm trying to give you an out. After we're all done, I feel like we're the only ones with our heads screwed on. And there's promises here, the one the next day, and then we just get being thrown into it. I know me and you, we're just solid. We know what we're about. Get the front lines, get the pie. That's what we're about. I'm just saying.
What we're about.
I'm just saying, if it gets a little bit too real for you with this group, I honestly don't know. I don't know if I'm in this group for the long haul. I think I was made to do some promises. I think I'm going to keep with those promises, but I might not be here the whole time. And I was throwing the invite to you. I'm throwing the invite to you.
I appreciate the invite. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to maybe know about promises if my life is on the line.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm here for that.
I mean, it's almost like an untold contract. It seems to be like we're the fighters, we protect them, but like, who's got our back? Like, they've been making promises behind our backs, and I feel like, hey, these are some squishy folks. We got to protect them, and then like thrown under the bus without us even knowing. That's what I've been feeling lately.
I wasn't really thinking of it like that, but now that you say that, it is a little bit concerning.
Right. I mean, okay, I don't want to be too brash. I just think maybe after all the dust settles, let's try and play devil's advocate. After all the dust settles, I think we just have to re-talk as a group about autonomy and like communication.
Or we, sneak away in the middle of the night, like, hey, there's a flying pterodactyl over there.
Mm-hmm.
We fulfilled our promises.
Okay, cool. So we just talk with each other. We're on the same page. So at some point we just peel out. If we're not feeling it, we pull the cord. We're out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know. I would be a little worried about Shrek, to be honest.
I mean, it looks like he can just disappear when he wants to. So it seems like he's okay.
We'll see.
Okay. I just felt crazy for a bit. I don't know about you, but I felt a little bit crazy. I felt like all these things were happening. It seemed very normal. Didn't feel normal to me.
To be fair, I really don't think we're going to make it past Baba Yaga. I mean, fair. I don't think we're going to have to worry about this.
Okay, if we don't make it past that, I guess we have nothing to worry about. But if we do make it past that, really consider just saying it out. That's all I have to say. I think we're good. But I have your back. You have my back. We're gonna keep having their back for now.
Yeah, go open a bakery.
Yeah. Oh, I can get into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think me and Zar can get into that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna do like a little like fist bump, and then I'm gonna rejoin the group.
All right.
And as he
so-
walks away, I'm gonna do that thing.
Perfect. So Slain,
We'll work on that.
as they were talking, Slain, you sort of went into ranger mode and perked up your ears and just sort of kept a slight ear on it. And it's not that you picked up everything they said, but you did hear the words Baba Yaga coming from their lips.
Oh, sure.
And right away, your mind goes back to last night when everyone else was sort of off and taking care of themselves. And there you sat with Mama Rihanna back in your room. There's a little fire in that fireplace in the room, and she's been tending your wounds and just sort of clucking and hemming and hawing over them. And does this hurt if I do this? And she'll
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought that shadow magic would be that painful?
People who know shadow magic, dear.
Oh, yeah, that's a good call. He's gonna let that. He's just gonna like chit chat for a while. But you made a you cut a deal with Grandma to get out to give up most of your power. Then right? Does that understand you?
Well, that's one way to put it, yes. It's one of those things where...
And she does a little hiccup, and you can see that she's got a flask sitting by her feet.
Oh.
It's one of those things where it can... Immortality sucks. If we're going to be frank.
Yeah.
I got bored.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's fun to be attractive and alluring, but then, you go out and kill them all! It's not so much fun. It gets boring.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, but you don't regret it?
Well, I don't know. Sing Divania, maybe just a little bit.
Yep. And she kind of just tries to pat down her chaotic little curls of hair.
It's one of those things every so often. I could have been a looker for a little bit longer. But I seem to get away with more in this form, if we're being honest.
Oh, sure. I mean, you can always just glamour yourself up if you wanted to, right? Like, I don't think you need to, but if you needed to, if you wanted to. Sure.
Of course I could.
So, yeah, I mean, like, so you just got to look out for these shards, yeah? Make sure they're safe.
Well, it's not so much that they wear them on the sleeves. It's more it's found their way into the individuals. So they're a little bit more special than others.
Oh, okay.
Well, like Eucephilia, she's very special.
Sure.
She's also been affected more by this whole hullabaloo than anyone else.
Well, I mean, it stands to reason that maybe if there's other parts that the mist affected, then maybe those who are hit hardest, maybe they have a shard. Anyway, that's where I'd start. But I just want to make sure, I don't know, you weren't not telling the rest of the group something. They have the weird stories in their heads about Grandma, how she does, and like I kind of see why they might not like her. Thinking back on some of the stories I remember now, but come on. I mean, she's not she's not like the Prince of Demon Mountain or anything. Come on.
Anyway. Mama can be but not me, Mama. My Mama. She can be a bitch.
Yeah. Sure. Oh, yeah, I get that.
Very manipulative and tricky if you're not careful.
I mean, I figured that that's just like gonna happen anyway. So like, you don't fight it. It's like, it's easier to like ride a stream down, when it's rough if you just go limp.
Go with the flow of it all.
Oh yeah, that's a good way. That's a much better way to put it. Yeah.
Oh,
And she's sitting her nose, and she kind of crosses it. You're hitting a mark on the nose for a little bit there. Yes. Oh, she needs something from all of you.
Baba?
And that's important to keep in mind in this situation. You've been handpicked by her and tested. And you made it this far.
I mean, by now in the stories, like, if we were going to get hurt, she'd have eaten us alive already. She'd, like, boiled our skin off and, you know, like, just sucked the marrow out of our bones.
You'd be Yagagu.
Easily.
Easily. Yagagu. Yes, Yagagu. You'd be Yagagu. So, I think I had too much to drink.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's been a hell of a month. Listen, Slane. She needs your help. But she'll never admit it. Ever. But the idea of any of these shards reuniting with that heart, that's got her a little bit nervous now, it does.
Yeah.
God forbid Black Teeth gets a hold of this information.
Oh, sure. You gotta keep that locked up. Yeah. Well, there's a lot to think about. Yeah. Well, you think we're gonna be all right tomorrow? Like, I think, you know.
No.
No? That's wow.
Well,
That's
it's not going
great
to be
confidence
easy.
booster, Mama.
It's not going to be easy. You're going to have to communicate with each other and work with each other and trust each other.
Oh, sure. Battle plan. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you got me scared there for a minute. All right. Well, like, why don't I tuck you in?
Better when they're communicating.
Oh, yeah, communicating. Yes, that would have saved me the trouble. Because I feel like, you know, like, when it comes down to it, maybe Gervain and the others are just, like, upset that I didn't tell them. You know, like, I think if I'd just been open, then maybe we could have planned this whole thing out instead of just, like, going around with our pants on fire, you know. It's good talk, Mama.
Likewise.
Don't worry about it. I think let's just take you to bed. Come on.
I didn't have that much to drink, and I didn't have my cake yet. Did they make cake? Wait a minute, don't hurt.
Zero has some pie, but I don't. She doesn't let me have any. He's got. I don't know what Slane has. He's got some food.
So you just hand her something, and she's actually nibbling with one hand, and she'll be taking care of all of the necrotic damage issues you incurred from your last little incident. And she'll be muttering, and you know, she's kind of doing that thing where she's taking a bite, and there's crumbs that are sort of falling off and onto her lap, and she'll brush them away quickly. And basically, in her little drunken ramblings, she keeps stressing to you that it's important for you all to be working together and to trust each other if you're going to make headway with all of this. And she'll look you straight in the eye, Slane. Sometimes people look for more when all there is right in front of them.
Is that like a reference to our enemy, or like my soulmate?
You have a crush?
No. I just was like worried that like I had to worry about that too, in addition to everything else. Like that seems like a big deal. Like I don't need that kind of thing in my life right now.
My God, Slane, you're too young for this. I'm not ready for this birds and bees story with you. No.
I mean, I was there to make honey and lay eggs.
Oh dear God, they didn't tell you before they let you out.
I was raised by my grandmothers. Yeah.
Well, you see, Slane, when two people fall in love, well, they don't have to fall in love. Sometimes they just connect.
Yeah. That sounds really complicated. So we could just, worry about the fight tomorrow, and then besides, customs. There's an arranged marriage. I never met her anyway. I may have walked out on it. Don't worry about it.
Well, you could always ask my mama to make sure that you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Like I said, you have a bargaining chip.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Help.
Yeah.
As much as you
That's
might
true.
need hers in this battle tomorrow.
Well, maybe the 6 of us are more brains than her one. That's probably not. Anyway,
No,
we'll be all right.
I think you'll be all right, provided you work the way you do together. And just keep in mind, just because you say yes to her and agree to work with her, it doesn't always mean that bad things are going to happen. I didn't keep to my end of the bargain.
Hmm.
So I am paying for my choice. Like this.
Sure. But, it was your choice, and that seems like it was worth something. No one forced you into it.
No, but I did try to trick her.
Oh,
I'm lucky she just wants me to keep an eye out and try and find the others.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. Good. Yeah. I guess, I always forget, how she can be. Anyway, stick together and talk to each other, and she, she needs something from us.
Yes, and that's good for you. And it
Oh, yeah.
leaves her in a less ideal stance. She's not used to that.
Yeah.
All right. The spin is rubbing. It's time for bed.
Let's go.
And she
Let's
would have taken
Slane
care of
will
all your injuries.
walk her to her room.
Yeah, this tall trollkin, 7'11", right?
Something
And this
like that,
tiny
yeah.
little diminutive old lady who's maybe 5 feet tall, kind of walking away towards the door. And you get her settled, you get yourself settled, and your brain flashes back once you hear Zira and Gervain stop talking, and it's back to the 6 of you standing there, looking at each other, looking down into the open area, and seeing these Alcide doing their best, trying to gain control. You see some figures in the distance, and you see this mist purposely staying out of the sunlight, but staying close enough to see what's going on. What are you going to do?
What's our plan? He'll look to Gervain.
Okay. Now I make the plans, okay. So...
I mean, that's what you were talking with Zira about, right? Like, you guys were formulating a plan to how
Oh,
you
yeah,
defeat
we
this
were.
myth?
Yeah, we got our plans, yep. Generally, okay, so we got the plan. What I'm gonna do is go up front with Little Czar, and we're gonna protect you folks from getting attacked from the front. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna go up front. Depends on Zira. Zira, this duty could switch between me or you, but it seems like at the end of the day, the most important person here is gonna be Ewell. So my job's gonna try and be general and protect everyone, or at least Shreg, Maurice, and Slane. But I feel like it might be a good job if you protect Ewell, or you could switch with me. I don't care, but Ewell's gonna need a bodyguard on this one.
I'm happy to stay near Ewell.
All right. So yeah, I mean, Slane, you're welcome to join me up front. I know that you have been working on some things. If that's the case, that's great. my main job, I feel like, is going to protect Shrag and Maurice, and possibly you. And yeah, that's my plan. I don't know, what does everyone else have to contribute here? Shrag, you just got back. You might have something that you can pull off. Maurice, you're in cahoots with the new god. Slay, you might know some new magic here. Ewell, it seems like you're revved up, ready to go, and just need a little bit of protection to go crazy. So, am I missing on anything here?
Am I the only one noticing that this mist seems to be avoiding the sunlight?
I did not look into that.
All right, so everyone right now, I'd like you to do depends on how closely you want to take things in, investigation or perception. If you really want to land, investigation.
If we're sort of far back and the battle's already been joined, then I think taking stock of everything and not just rushing in is going to be key. So yeah, if we can, I'll get a high vantage point as well. Like if there's
you're already sort of on a high vantage point because of where the longhouse is situated. It just naturally slopes down towards the lake area and the gathering area. So you are higher up to begin with, and everything's probably about from 60 to 120 feet away from the opening of the longhouse itself. And you're sort of northeastish where you stand.
Gotcha. And then there's like a lake shore nearby.
Yeah, you have the lake in the southeast area. You have the gathering where they would have dinner and everything in the upper northwest.
Can we see any of our Alcide allies, like Cal or Finn, Finium or Faye? Or any of them fighting or leading? Okay.
That's where the check comes in, please.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. 26 for perception.
Okay, so now that Slane can see smell. So Slane, you're looking, and with your abilities, you're able to pick up that, yes, already on the battlefield, you see that Cal, the one who had come to claim you, he has gone charging back into the fray, and you see the Crimson Mist is tucked back behind sort of the eating area, so in that northwest area in the tree line is where the Crimson Mist is located. You're seeing dead center this Alcide figure standing in the middle of everything and in battle with most likely Faye, based upon the form that you can see. And you'll also notice that there are some bodies on the ground. The antlers are hints that these are fallen Alcide, for sure. You're also going to notice in the lake area where you have the farmland, there are these 5 forms starting to make their way up and towards the main battle itself. And there are these very wispy, swirly, at first you would have mistaken them for whirlwinds of fog, but they are most definitely not. As you see, they have a more humanoid-like shape to them. And you notice as they are coming up from these fields, the plants which they walk through or walk by instantly turn brown and the leaves begin to fall. And they too are heading towards the battle. So right now it looks as though there's like a figure standing in the center of an Alcide shape. It looks like Faye is in combat with this figure. Crimson Mist is towards the side, and you see there are some Alcide, one possibly even Finium because of the bulk, attempting to attack this Crimson Mist hiding in the tree line. And there are 4 bodies of other Alcide that are fallen around this figure in the center, standing out in the open in the sunlight.
Gotcha. All right, and then Cal was sort of joining that the fight as well. So it sounds like we can join Cal's charge, join Finium in fighting the Mist, potentially help Faye to make sure she doesn't fall, which is also where those lake monsters are coming from. Do I have that right?
Not lake monsters; they've come from the fields.
Or not the lake monsters, the mist monster things.
The mists, the misty figures coming from the fields. They are walking forward. They're probably about 60 feet away from Faye, and where she is standing with the other creature. So you have about 60 feet between them, 40 feet between Faye and where her father is, and probably another 20 feet from where her father is in Crimson Vistas.
Okay. Are you
so there is
Are you communicating this to us, Jim, or are you just kind of?
Yeah. So like Slade might even like stamp up a little hill for him to stand on to get it, and he'll just be talking as it goes, what he sees, and we'll end on those creatures that are from the field.
I think from that info, we need to turn to Ewell. Ewell, what do you think we should do? I mean, this seems to be, you have a calling here, and I feel like it doesn't seem like we have a lot of time to waste resources fighting a front that we don't need to be fighting, so where do you think we should go?
We know the mist is a big problem, but we're gonna need something that can actually damage that, so anyone who's got any sort of maybe I would guess maybe radiant? If this is vampiric, it's anything I can think of to handle that. I certainly don't have that. But I think
I can't help but feel, but when it comes to radiant damage, that's my specialty. But if I, truth be told, I'd rather be at your side if I can.
Yeah. What we're asking, Ewell, is where do you think you're going to be able to provide the most service? Because it sounds like you've had a calling to fulfill some sort of, lack of a better term, promise.
Much as I would like to take the mist out myself, I don't think I quite have the stuff that's great for that. We can try, but if it's not, we need to peel off elsewhere.
I mean, sounds like we'd have to fight.
We're here to support you. We're here to support you,
Jim?
so wherever you...
Oh, sorry. I mean, I just was clarifying. It sounded like we would have to fight through several things just to get to the mist anyway, yeah?
Okay. You'd have to probably make your way first through, at least some of you would have to sort of act as a distraction and fight towards this figure that Faye is fighting, for a couple of you to offset and head towards the mist. Keep in mind you have those 5 wispy figures that are coming up as well. So there's a lot going on in front of you. Yeah. It's just which needs to be taken down first and fastest is what it's going to boil down to.
Maybe we try to 5 figures first, and then we head to help Faye out with it, because we know she falls, we have bigger issues.
Let's do it.
Yeah, the massive Alcine can't fall here.
Yeah, Faye is front and center against the mist, is that right?
No, Faye is front and center with this figure who you have not quite been able to identify yet. They are standing in the middle of this open area, and the two of them are definitely having back and forth. And as of right now, it looks like she's holding her ground, Faye is at least. But again, there are the bodies of 4 other Elseeds there, and Cal has actually cantered off towards Finium. So you have Finium and Cal towards the Crimson Mist. Faye in the center. Mama is actually nowhere to be seen. At this point, you can only assume that she's been ordered to stay back with Gypsophilia.
Sure. My instinct is to go after the closest threat and then reassess once we've done with that.
Sure.
Okay.
That's those 5 of them, because they could
that would be good.
tear up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what.
All right.
Maurice wants to make sure that AOL is safe, but Gervain has made it very clear that he will keep her safe, so Maurice is gonna rush off to help Faye.
That's Zira's job, but okay.
I mean, I'm assuming we're all mostly Slane and Gervain out front, and then everybody else kind of at the mid-range. It's mostly all sticking together, just not in a tight cluster.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so basically we're going to have some splitting of the party, so I'd like you all to roll for your initiative, please, as I get others set up.
Oh, Maurice, why?
Uh-oh.
I should have used real dice. Oh well. Ah well.
Did the Alcide have a spare shield lying around anywhere?
None that you can see, no. Okay, so who's heading towards the whirlwinds then?
Slain will be heading towards them. They're the closest threat, yeah, so.
Okay,
Myself
so Slain,
as well.
what was your initiative?
Lighting 13 for Slain.
Gervain?
Right behind Slain with a 12.
12. Okay, anyone else heading towards these whirlwind creatures?
AOL was
AOL, what did you get for yours?
12.
12? Okay, Gervain or AOL? Who wants
I'm
to go
staying
first
right
or
next to
who- Okay, so Zira, you're also going. Zira, what was your initiative then?
8.
8. All right. AOL or Gervain, who wants to go first in this row? You both got 12s.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go after Eowyn. Or not after, sorry. I'm in initiative order. I'm going before her, rather.
Before. Okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
And then Maurice, you said you're heading towards Faye?
Yeah, somebody's got to make sure that she makes it through this combat.
Okay.
And obviously, like I said, we're protecting Aowil as well, but we need Faye, because if she's set to be the next priestess, then... Yeah.
Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut rounds. So we'll go through round 1 with the group, then shift over to you. Okay. So we're going to have 2 separate initiatives stacking, but we're just going to go back and forth. So what was your initiative roll for Maurice?
4.
4. Okay. And let me just check here. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Okay. So you will
That's not-
have Faye.
Not good.
Faye, the creature she's fighting, and then Maurice. That's your marching orders for your grouping. Okay, Jesse? And then for the other ones, Slain, Gervain, AOL, the Misty Swirly Figures, and then Zira to wrap us up. So Slain, you go charging towards these 5 figures. Again, they are very misty and swirly looking. The closer you get, you notice they take on this feminine physique. And again, any plant-like bit that they touch, you see it turn brown almost and just sort of fall to the ground as if it's sort of no longer of health and hail type of situation.
Yeah. They look like undead, or they look like something else? Like, or is it? Can we
They
tell
have-
at all?
Tell you what, give me either an Arcana or a Nature check to see if you can determine that.
Let's see here. That's a 12 for nature. Sorry, 17 for nature.
Okay, so with a 17, you recognize these creatures, and they are often mistaken for undead. However, they are not. They're called Billwith. At least that's what the grandmothers had always called them. And they have a foggy-like build to them, and it looks as almost they're built from plant-like materials like weeds and grass sort of woven together to make these forms, and they float, and their hair flows like corn silk in the breeze. And you know that they are brought out only upon the orders of another. They have to be working for someone for their presence to be there. So they've been
Gotcha.
summoned, essentially.
All right, I'll just sort of like, they're not undead, Gervain, so I don't know, but they're summoned. And Slane's going to rush towards the nearest one. He has his maple leaf hatchet out and going to attack. And hopefully, there it goes. Oh, let's see. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
And 16 will hit. Really quick, Shrek, what was your initiative and where are you going? I am so sorry, my dear.
No, I think I was just so engrossed in like listening to I was just watching you all play. I forgot. I'm not in this stream. I'm just watching it. 8. I got an 8. My initiative.
And
I didn't roll.
Where are you going? Are you going
I
towards
have.
the building,
I
or are you
don't.
heading
Reese, you
towards-
can't be alone, right?
Maurice is by himself at this point. If you want to go with Maurice, you're welcome to go with Maurice.
That's what I'm saying. Bring some of that magical backup. We got this.
Yeah,
They can do,
yeah.
you know,
Let me help
spooky
you.
ghost
Get
ladies.
there.
Together. Okay, so you're gonna go join Maurice?
Yeah, I'll join Maurice.
Okay, so Shreg is with Maurice. So then it goes Faye, Shreg, the figure, and Maurice for that marching order. We're going to go for you as soon as we go through first round on this side with the Billis. So Slain, rewind. A 16, correct? A 16 will
16 to hit.
absolutely strike. Okay.
All right, and
so
that's
who are you?
11.
You have these 5 figures, okay, and they are basically, it's almost like a geese in flight pattern, except there's one in the back. So you have one in the front, 2, a third, and 4th, and then the 5th type of situation. Okay.
We'll start with one of the base of the triangles. So I guess like 3.
Okay, so you're gonna go up to 3. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then so 11 damage with the hatchet, and then I will take my dread ambusher attack for this. Oh, so close. Should have been a champion fighter. So that's going to be a 25 to hit, 26 to hit.
Yeah.
And this is going to do, let's see, 7 plus 8, a 9 damage to that one.
All right, so 11 and 9. So we have 20 total. Correct?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Of damage. Beautiful. All right, so as you hack away at this creature, your blows truly land and they do full damage, and you see this particular bits of these reeds and other plant-like material that this Billis is made up of shearing off and falling down onto the ground. And 3 is looking a little beat up at this point. Gervain, what would you like to do seeing Shreg move towards the one that's at the, well, your far, if you're facing it, your far left? There's one in the front, there's one to the opposite side, and then 2 more in the back from your direction.
All right, so I'm going to go to the one that Slain just damaged, and I'm going to just try and pick these off. Basically, I'm just trying to lower their numbers, so Gervain's going to go against the same one Slain had attacked, and I'll keep it simple this time. I will attack, and then Lil Zara will attack after me. So
Okay. LZ.
Sweet.
Or LC.
All right, here we go. 15. Is it 15?
Absolutely. Will absolutely hit. Yep.
Okay. And that is 10 points piercing and 5 points necrotic.
Okay. And again, you
Zar.
see this is starting to whittle away into a wisp at this point. What happens with little Zars jumping in at this point?
Natural 20 for Zar, so hell yeah. And that's gonna be on his bite. So
Which is you get the full damage for the first die, roll for the second die, and add in your bonuses.
Okay.
For a crit.
15 piercing damage altogether.
Okay, so basically, Slain, you start hacking away at this creature. Gervain, you come in and you further pull away more bits and pieces of this creature, and little Zar just jumps right in like a cat who's just found the catnip toy and picks it up in their mouth and shakes it, and suddenly this creature is just gone in this puff of particulate plant-like matter as it sort of dusts itself in wavering forms down onto the ground, and 3 is now officially gone. There is no number 3 Billis left, so that leaves you with 4 of them, and we are to Aol. You see your companions make quick work of the first. What would you like to do?
I think I want to do something that's going to hit multiple, so I'm going to start casting Dark Bolt.
Okay, and they are close enough to each other where you could hit all 4 of them together, depending on your...
I believe it does up to 3. Why didn't it do that thing? Is it not?
Did it process through? Come on, the roll.
Like
I had a refresh roll 20 because it just...
Oh, I see why. Clicking in the wrong spot. There we go. Oh.
Okay. All right, so
what it's supposed to do, because it's not putting the full information in, that's maddening. I thought it said it to do that. Other than the damage, so
that's okay.
Check that.
That's all right.
But it's that one that does the dark nimbus cloud around her hand and then shoots out the 3 rays.
Okay, so and the 2 is your number or your damage?
That's the damage. It's supposed to be a Constitution save, I believe.
Constitution save. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so
Yeah, it's supposed to be a
Constitution
range
against a
for each. It's supposed to be a ranged spell attack for each target.
okay. So if you have a ranged spell attack, then you need to roll and see if you hit them.
Yes. +5. Okay. +5, and I need to do that 3 times. Yes. So there's 1.
Okay, so the first 2, great. The first 2 will hit. The 11 will miss completely. So let's. Do you want to reroll again for the damage itself, since things got wonky in the beginning?
We can do that. That's supposed to be D10.
Yeah. Just to make sure it's set properly. And we can just do the 1 roll for both of them.
6.
A 6. Okay. So as you send this out, you see 2 of your strikes hold true, and it affects the 2 up in the front. And they each take 6 points of, what is this, necrotic, you said?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So they take 6 points of necrotic damage, each of them. Is there anything else you would like to do for your turn?
Is that an extra? It's 1 action. That's a free action. No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So what is going to happen is the 2 that were hit, they are actually going to turn towards your group. And Gervain and Slain, since you are closest, they are going to come towards you. However, the other 2 are actually going to keep advancing towards the area where you are seeing the battle happening, where Faye is, and you saw Maurice and Shrek head off. So let's see here. Slain does a 13 hit.
AC 16.
Okay, so this Bilwis that tries to attack you, Slain, its sweep runs wide, and they are unable to hit you with their slam. Gervain, that's a 1. So this creature goes to hit you, and it actually almost spins itself completely around. It seems to be distracted by the fact that you just have little Czar standing right next to you. So neither of their hits happen. However, the other 2 do advance a little bit further up, and they are getting closer to you, Maurice and Shreg. However, they're not in striking distance. That's going to leave us with Zira. You have your turn now. What would you like to do as you see these 2 figures that have advanced upon Gervain and Slain, and the other 2 are continuing towards the other target?
I'm having a brain fart. Can I use a bonus action but hold my action? Or do I have to do it all at the same time? So I want to stay right next to Eowel. So I think that doesn't put me in melee with anything. So I just want to hold my action in case anything comes close to her.
Okay.
And then I want to use one of my superiority die to rally. And I'm going to touch Eowel's shoulder and say, nothing will happen to you, warrior. And then she gets 7 extra hit points.
Okay. All right. That's lovely. So yes. So we leave it with Zira giving a vote of confidence, and thus giving her a little boost to her hit points as well. And that is going to swing us over to round 1, second set. My God, you guys are giving me a toast tonight. So we start off with, and I need to get her open. We start off with Faye Dorada. She is standing and shoulders are squared, and she is actually in striking distance, and you see her with her short sword go to try and strike this creature. Now, as you get closer, Shrek and Maurice, you see standing in front of you, and this is something only the 2 of you will see at this point, you see standing in front of you another Elseed woman. However, her skin is extremely pale. Her eyes, while they were once black, The whole entire eye itself is now fully blackened out, and her long black hair has been braided back as if to get out of the way and not be as much of a nuisance. And you see, as she's grinning towards Faye, these pointed teeth peeking out from her smile. And she's almost looking at Faye with this come at me motion as she glances down at the other 4 Elseed whose bodies are lying around her feet. And you will see Federata with this grimace of intense anger lunge toward who you now realize is Dracera and try and strike her with her short sword. Ooh, and she will, I hate toggling. She will actually, her strike will land. So she makes a strike towards Dracera, and you see this sword does make contact and will take on 6 piercing damage from this strike. And then that is going to be it for Faye, which brings us to Shreg.
Okay. I have no idea what to do. Good God, there's so many things going on. I mean, if so, whoever Faye is being attacked by, oh no, we kind of want to stop that weird pointy teeth lady, huh? That would be probably ideal. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Considering last you heard she was one of the Elseed and not this.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll go ahead and I'm just clicking on this so I can read what it said. Yeah, thanks, right?
Hi, and welcome back to this lovely creature.
Seeing the pointy fangs, the horrific look on Maurice's Gearforged face, Shrug will take the hint and quickly spin their dodecahedron and Eldritch Blast at the thing.
Okay, let's see how you do with that.
We'll do that.
And
okay,
it will
or I'll just click the
absolutely
spell.
Okay,
Did it?
It's a hit. It will strike. Yep.
It didn't roll. That's not
Yes,
me.
then
That's
I'm
you.
seeing it. Oh, that's me. I take
Did
it back.
it?
So
That's you.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
It's like
That's
it just
me.
put the spell. Oh, but that was hit though. With the net 20.
Welcome back.
Bam!
Dragon.
That is
Well done.
Okay,
Well done.
20 points of force damage.
Well, let's just make sure, because the way I do crits is you get full damage on the first die. Roll your second die, and then add in your bonuses. Makes sense for your crit hit?
Okay.
Okay.
So
your first die is a full
roll.
hit, so that's a D10 you already have, right?
It's a D10. Mm-hmm.
Roll another D10.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll an actual D10.
Okay.
Ooh, okay, that's a 6.
Okay, and then any bonuses that go into it?
Plus a 4, so 20.
20.
It's the
Okay,
same.
so it's the same. Cool. All right. So you have 20 points of this crackling beam. What does it look like as you send this towards this hideously transformed, what once was a more sneering Elseed, pain in the butt, to this creature who is truly no longer what she once was?
I think having recently been in contact with Rava herself, Shreg's typical like purple pinkish kind of energy is wound almost, like as that beam strikes out, there's just this spiral of golden light swirling around it as it strikes.
Okay. And as it hits, you do see that it does cause some damage to her, but she is standing up straight. Her attention is now turned towards you, however, and there's almost this hissing-like sound. What's this one? And she almost lunges towards you. And in process, she does open herself up to an opportunity attack from Phaedrata, who is going to take full advantage of this. And she is
Take it, Faye.
She's going to try and hit her again. And I'm just trying to get back to her. She's going to use her produce flame. Produce flame. This is how you grill your veggies, folks. And that is going to be... Hold on. Let me do the clicking. Okay, so yeah, she definitely hits. And she will take 10 extra points of fire damage as she moves away towards Drosera and starts not walking, but moving towards the two of you, Maurice and Shreg. And Maurice, it is to you.
And she's pretty visibly a vampire or some kind of something, right?
She's got some very vampire-like tendencies, but this is an interesting brew because she's standing in the broad daylight.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Shreg. I'm not a huge fan of what's happening right about now. Might be good if you stand back a bit. And then,
Oh, okay.
as he says that, all the gears that are on the outside of him are gonna start like whirling around and glowing like white hot. And he is going to guiding bolt at 2nd level.
Okay.
Now, last time I did this, it didn't work so good, so let's try it again. Oh my god, it's a 10. Jeez, do I want to blow
You do
my
have
friggin'
that
inspiration?
if you want to reroll.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Just saying. Okay.
Yeah, here goes. It's a 16. That's so much better.
That just hits.
Ooh, thank goodness. Okay, so at 2nd level, how many D6s is that? I'm a not small amount.
Oh, dear God. No, it isn't.
I think it's 66, is it? Yeah.
I believe you're
That's what
correct,
it's
yeah.
Yeah.
I can look
Basically, a cleric fireball.
Yeah. It's a lovely thing. You got it, Jim? Or
Ugh.
I'm looking it up.
14
Oh,
radiant damage.
14 radiant. Okay, awesome. So, you see this damage pouring from yourself, aiming towards
Actually,
her.
sorry, it should only be 5d6. It only increases by 1d6
Yeah.
for every spell slot level.
One above, yeah.
So,
Okay, so then you have 5.
Yeah.
So let's make the math easy, and we'll take away one of the ones. Okay.
sweet.
So then it's going to be
13.
13 points radiant damage, heading directly towards her. And as you hit her, she kind of like absorbs it, and again, this hissing sound comes from her. And she looks down. Where did you aim these towards her?
Right center mass. She's LC, so hopefully somewhere like in the midriff, lower abdomen type area.
Okay, so yes, you do see there is this damage that's been done to her midsection, but it has not really slowed her down, and she will continue just like in this lurching action. You can tell she is still quite able to start moving towards you should she want to. So that takes care of round 1 on this side of the split party. Now we're gonna go to round 2 of the other side of the split party, because hey, let's just have some fun for our last episode and see where we get here. Okay, so round 2 with the group on the bill list. Slane, we start with you. You have 1 who has a little bit of damage going on. You have 2 who is nice and clean. You have 4 also with the same amount of damage, and 5 again, nice and clean. 3 is gone. Who would
3
you
is
like
gone,
to
and
attack?
then 2 of them had split off and are heading
2 of
towards
them are
the,
moving forward. Yeah, the ones with no damage are moving towards the others. If you
I'm
wanted to
gonna-
pursue them, you could. They are within your motion to throw an attack. However, you do have, it is 1 who is on top of
right
you.
up on us. Yeah, they
Yeah,
made
you
it
have
tried to
some-
attack me. Huh? I will attack the one that tried to attack me,
Makes
and
sense.
see how it goes. Yeah.
Okay.
So first attack, let's see. Maybe not. That's going to be a 13 to hit,
Just
and it's going to be 7 damage, and I will use a bonus to make a claw attack.
Okay.
Let's see how that does. Oh, that is a crit with a claw. Sweet.
Sweet. All right, so let's figure out all your damage first, and then we'll start doing some subtractions.
Oh, I only roll a d4 with my claws. So it's going to be, so 4 plus the 3, so it'll be an extra 7 slashing.
Okay, so 7 slashing. What was the other one?
The other
strike?
one was what? My first strike was like 7 as well. Yeah.
7. Okay.
7 and
Okay,
7.
so you are able to again start whittling away at this form. It's still upright, but again, you see pieces of it falling to the ground as the wind's kicking through. Anything else you'd like to do? I can do.
Nope. It's my action and
Nope.
bonus.
All right, cool. Gervain, we are now up to you. You have number 4, who is on top of you and has also taken damage. What would you like to do?
Is that the one that Slain just damaged?
No, it's the one who's attacking you. The one that Slain just damaged is number 1.
All right, I will attack 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we need a bark bag?
It looks like that's a 12, so that probably doesn't hit.
Where 12 will just miss for you. What about little Czar?
Yep. 15 for the first attack and 18 for the second.
Both will hit. So let's get the numbers for that one for little Czar.
5 piercing for the bite and 5 piercing or 5 slashing for the claw. So 10 altogether.
Okay. Beautiful. So again, you're seeing, even though your swing went a little wide, you see little Czar is able to start shredding some damage into this creature. And then that is going to bring us to AOL. It is your turn, unless Gervain, is there anything else you want to do?
Nah, Zar's a more proficient fighter than Gervain. X.
Well, hey, I mean, you've trained Czar well. All right, AOL, it's your turn now. You have the 2 moving off in the distance who you could reach at range. They're probably about 40-ish feet away from you at this point. And then you have the 2 who are directly on top of Gervain and Slain.
We don't want the 2 that are on top of people doing anything. So we're gonna
Okay.
hit that dark bolt stuff again. There, that's slightly better. Yeah.
All right.
I
I
kind
gotta
of
move
did
a tab there. Okay. Did it? That's the damage though.
It's
Just do
not-
the.
It's not
It's not
doing
rolling
a
the
separate-
attack?
I'm not sure how to tell it.
All right,
I
tell
mean,
it.
it
Just roll
said
your dice and
that-
let's see.
Okay.
Just do a ranged attack with your own dice and see what we get. Just hits. So then they'll take 7 cold damage. Each of them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that'll work then. So your bolt hits both of them. And they both are not looking as fantastic as before, which is wonderful. All right, this means that you now have these 2, again, they're right on top of, 1 and 4 are right on top of Slain and Gervain. They are going to attempt to attack, so let me get my 2d20s out so I can do. So, let's see here. Okay, Slain, does mathing a 23 hit?
Oh, yes.
A 23 is going to hit for Slain, and then Gervain does a 15 hit.
I believe that is going to just hit.
Just hit. All right. So you each are going to take on one of their slams, and oh, for heaven's sakes, that is going to be for Slain. You take on 12 points bludgeoning. Gervain, you take on 13 bludgeoning.
Got it.
It's barely a scratch.
Okay, and the other 2, you're going to see that they actually turn around at this point and they see that their companions are not doing as well as they had thought, and they're going to hover their way back towards your group as opposed to pursuing the other group. But they will not make it up all the way. So they're returning back around, and Zira, it is now your turn.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. There
That's
we go.
okay.
So what I want to do is I want to kind of like tapping into, excuse me, my cold, tapping into being like a sword fighter. I want to gracefully kind of pull my hand axe out of its sheath and like twirl and throw it at the closest one to me. 14.
14 will hit, and that is probably going to be the one that is up near Slang.
And it's 6 points of damage.
Okay, so it takes another 6 points of damage, and again, you see more bits and pieces of it fall to the side. It's not looking as great as it was. In fact, it's not hovering as far off the air or off the ground as it was either. It's starting to get more of this tendrily, wispy look to it as opposed to a full-formed creature. Anything else you would like to do, or are you good?
Seeing the other two turn around and kind of come back towards the group too, I want to kind of take like a defensive stance in front of AOL.
Okay. All right, so you move, so you're not right next to her, but you can kind of sort of, cut the difference if you wanted to. Okay. Yep, that takes care of round 2 on this side. Now we're going to shift over to round 2 on the other. So as Drosera has walked away from Federata, I'm looking for both of their... Hold on, looking for both character sheets. Federata is going to, once again, use her magic. And this time, she's going to, once again, throw the produce flame at Drosera, but it is going to go wide and it will miss and not strike. That brings us to Shreg. You see Federata attempting to throw fire at Drosera as she makes her way towards you and Maurice. What are you going to do? She's probably about 25, 30 feet away from you.
Okay. Excuse me. I am going to... not sure so much as, not really worried about myself right now. I want to kind of, help disable her a bit. So, Shreg is going to switch some of the gears around on the dodecahedron and send out another blast. And this one is way more chilling, with more of a blue tint to the energy that comes from it as I cast Frostbite.
Yeah, let me see that because I don't remember. I guess one from the other.
Okay.
So it's a Constitution saving throw. Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, she got a 5.
Okay, so she's going to take 5 points of cold damage and will have disadvantage on their next attack roll made before the end of their next turn.
Well, hey, that's looking pretty darn good because she is now up and she is actually going to try and attempt to charge towards you with her staff. She's going to use the rest of her motion to actually get right on top of the two of you, and she's going to try and swing at you with her staff. However, let's see if she even hits. And does an 11 hit our little Shrek?
No.
Oh. All right.
It would reflect off of the armor that Rava had blessed Shreg with.
Ooh, glad that happened. So you see her with her teeth gritted tightly, the fangs protruding out against her lower lips as she goes to swing, and it whiffs right above your head as the staff moves around with her one arm going to swing at you. Maurice, you see Drosera is now on top of you and your small companion. She has gone to attack the smallest and weakest of your party in your eyes. What are you going to do about it, sir?
Maurice is enraged. He's going to pull out the mace, and he's going to flip it out to the side. As a bonus action, he's going to trigger the transformation, and he's going to shout at her, "Hey, you leave them alone!" And then he's going to swing around, inflict wounds at second level with advantage, thanks to this being the first attack since Guiding Bolt.
Okay.
Here we go. That didn't actually cast it. That's just the spell. Hang on, let's try it again. 24. Woo!
24. Okay, hold on. Did you inflict wounds or? Oh, there we go. That's right. Okay, so with 24, yes, you absolutely did get that, and it is not. It's not with a crit behind it. So let's see here. It's 1d8 plus your spellcasting ability.
Actually, inflict wounds is 4d8 necrotic damage at second level. Sorry,
Oh,
4d10.
There you go. Okay, so let's get that rolling then.
15
For some reason
necrotic
it's
damage.
15 necrotic, lovely.
Plus, actually get the 1d6 radiant damage for the mace transforming, so 17.
Okay, so you notice that the necrotic damage does not seem to do as much as you had hoped, though it does do some. However, the radiant damage does fully affect her.
Good to know. That's the
And-
first time Maurice has seriously hit somebody with his mace, and it feels good.
Yep. So, yeah, she has attention turned to you now, obviously, though there's nothing she can do. Is there anything else you'd like to do on your turn, Maurice? Or are you good? You're muted.
Oh, damn it!
I'm
That's
getting
bonus
them out
action
and
and
out.
action, but
Okay.
he's going to try to
So
make
what-
sure that her attention is on him and not on Shrek.
Okay. All right. Makes perfect sense. Just 1 second. I need to throw something because the kitten is eating something she shouldn't. Aye! Don't do that. Life with cats, folks. Okay, that takes care of round 2 on both sides. We are now going to shift back over to our first set, fighting the Bilwis for their round 3. Yes, so Slain, it is back to you.
All right.
You have number one
So-
still on top of you, not looking too fantastic. I will say that.
All right, so I am going to use a bonus action to cast Westwind Strike and call upon Shmal once again. And then let's see how this goes. Oh, so for my attack, that's going to be like a 23, and
that
then
hits.
7 slashing. And if I can I scoop up Zira's hand axe with like my use object action and then like have it?
You want to just keep it in hand and have it ready to go?
Yeah, I was about to make an attack with it and I realized I already used my bonus action. But yeah, so he has
Yeah.
two like 2 hand axes and then he'll, give it back to her.
Okay,
I
yeah, you
know.
can pick up that hand axe if you want to. So you've done some more damage to that. It is definitely not looking good. It's almost like wavering as the wind blows. It's looking like a very sick, thin reed almost.
And then is there like one further in? Like this is the first one that's sort of Slain engaged with, or like the second one? Is there one like closer towards where the action is? Because he didn't worry about whether it's gonna attack or not.
Well, the other 2 are coming towards you guys now. They've turned around now, seeing that the companions have been getting nicked off left and right. So they're moving towards you. So you're getting 2 more of these heading your way.
Can I meet him in the middle?
They're going
Zephyr's
to meet
trying
you
to be-
pretty darn soon, regardless. They're like within 10 feet
Okay.
of you.
Okay, never mind then. I'm done.
Okay. All right. But then Jervain, is your turn.
Yep. Doing my spear. Piercing business.
Spear it up.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. That's a 9.
No, you're not.
All right. And then Zara's going to make his 2 attacks against the same thing that it did before. 21 on the first hit and 12 on the second.
First hit will take, second hit will not. So what happens with the first?
So he bites into this creature, 7 points of piercing damage, just tries to do the same thing, kind of do a aggravated bite and a shake around.
Okay, and you do see some more pieces of this Bilwis fall away. However, it is looking in much better condition than the one in front of Slain. However, not nearly as good as the ones who are starting to make their way over to you and will be upon you soon, AOL, as you take this all in. What are you going to be doing?
I'm feeling like these rays aren't quite doing enough. Like they're going kind of slow, so I'm gonna fall back on my default. And I'm just gonna start Eldritch blasting stuff.
Okay.
Maybe.
So, not with 12.
Maybe.
No, it just misses. So the Eldritch Blast, it flies wide and it goes over everyone's heads, basically. And unfortunately, that does not hit as your strike. Zira, is there anything you want to do since weren't you holding? Or no, you took action, right?
No, I don't want to do anything.
Okay. All right. And then this is going to bring us to the bill list. So the one that's on top of you, Slain, and the one that is on top of you, Gervain, once again, they are going to try and slam you. Slain does a 17 hit.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes. So then you are going to be taking...
Earth clods at me.
So, Slain, you take on 13 points of bludgeoning. Gervain does a 9 hit.
A 9 does not hit.
All right, so then that one misses for you. And then the other two are then going to make their way towards you, and they are going to come on top of both AOL and Zira, and they too are going to try and slam each of you. Let's see here. AOL, the one absolutely misses you. They just roll the 1. Zira, does a 14 hit you?
No.
Okay, so that just misses you. So both of them go to attack, but swing wide as they are trying to get their bearings. And then that brings us to Zira. It is now your turn. You have one on top of you, one on top of Zira, both in full health. You see there is still the one on top of Slain, really not looking so great, and the other one on Gervain, getting a little bit beat up thanks to the help of Zar.
I want to take my sword that's a little bit more run down and make it attack the one right in front of me, and it's not going to hit because that's an 8.
Yeah, that's gonna whiff.
But I'll take my action surge and try to do it again.
All right, cool.
That's not going to hit either because that's even lower.
Oh no! All right, so Zira, bless your heart, you are trying. But as these creatures are starting to get towards you, it is almost starting to get not overwhelming, but it is distracting because you're trying to figure out who to attack first, leaving you in quite the conundrum. And that takes care of round 3 on this side. Shifting over to round 3 to our second side of the party. Who starts us? Faye starts us off. Let me switch over to Faye Dorada, and she is going to, seeing this creature running away from her, she is going to use her longbow against... Come on. Oh! And she gets a crit! Okay, so Federata goes to shoot at Drosera, and this is a magical bow because, you know, Daddy takes care of his daughter. And that is going to be... Let's see what we get here. Oh, nice. So you see this arrow catch Drosera right in the middle of the shoulder blades in her back. Federata has no problem shooting this person in the back whatsoever. And they are going to be taking on 11 points piercing damage. And then that is going to then take us to Shred. What would you like to do?
Oh, she's right there. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch over the dodecahedron and Eldritch Blast again.
And I believe because
it's actually more damage. I take that back. Hold on, I take it back. That's actually because I forgot it was a crit. So that's going to be a full. So it's 19 points damage she just took.
Nice.
All right, so she's
So
not
almost
looking
70
as
points of
like
damage,
it.
and she's still mad at us. We need
She's
to put her
still
down,
mad
Shrek.
at you. Right.
So there's I've got allies around me, correct? Maurice
have
and
I got
Faye
you.
are engaged. You got me? Okay, cool. Or at least Maurice is engaged within 5 feet. So I get advantage as a kobold. That's the Blindsider ability.
Uh-huh.
So we are going to go ahead and do that Eldritch Blast at advantage.
Nice.
Which is nice. That's a 21 to hits. And
Okay.
13 points of force just straight out of that dodecahedron.
Beautiful. And you see it finds its way back into a previous injury, and more of her is starting to take on damage. However, she's still standing. She's not exactly wavering on her feet quite yet, but you do see that her steps are not quite as wide of a stride. How's that?
Fair.
Frickin' raid boss still up.
Really tall. It's an Alseid, right? And decurbled. It's
Yes.
like the
You know.
difference. It's a toddler and a horse.
Well, toddler and deer, because they're more deer-like.
They are
And
more
that-
deer-like. They're more deer-like.
Yes, so that's Maurice. It is your turn. You have seen Faye actually be able to zing and get some damage in. And you saw your lovely companion Shreg, who is back with you. They too are able to get some damage in. What would you like to do?
Is it
Sarah?
possible? Is it possible to just sidestep while staying engaged, but get myself opposite Shreg for flanking? Again, he's really trying to keep her focus off Shreg on himself. So if the flanking can't necessarily happen, that's fine as long as she's looking at Maurice or not looking at Shreg.
Oh, you want to get your moving will definitely get her attention on you. Absolutely.
Good. Good.
Okay.
So yeah, if possible, sidestep around just to be polar opposite from Shreg. And then before I make my attack, I'm going to use a bonus action to pull out the spiritual weapon. So Maurice is actually just going to he's got his mace in one hand. The other hand, he's going to reach deep inside of himself and rip out what looks like a bunch of gears and throw them up in the air. And they're going to kind of expand and reposition themselves and kind of start spinning. So it looks, us modern folks recognize it as a gear spinning drone.
Cool.
But to, ye olden fantasy world, it would look kind of like a giant wasp out of gears. And then that weapon is going to go ahead and try to make an attack. And that's going to be a 25 to hit.
That absolutely will hit.
That will be 12 radiant damage.
Even better. Even better, darling. So, as your spiritual weapon strikes against this, you start to see Drosera. She takes a stumble slightly back. It's not that she's disengaged with you guys, but it's just this impact of it hitting her. And she's definitely not looking quite as pulled together now. Her focus is still on you, however. So now it is your actual.
Yeah, for my action, the mace is coming out, and this is aimed right at her face. I want to try to knock out those fangs, bash in that face. It's not going to happen. That's a 7.
Yeah, no. So while your mace tries to swing, she still has this ability. She is actually quite dexterous. She almost does that lean to the side and mockingly goes with the sweep of it and is grinning at you with those fangs, not this time, darling. And she
keep smiling wide like that. You're going to give me a bigger target.
That's a very good point. And that takes care of round 3 on your side, which is taking us over to round 4 with the Billwith group.
All right.
I should have known you guys are going to split the party. You always split the party. Okay, round 4. We're starting with Slain. You have the Billwith right on top of you. It's looking like a sprig of what it once was. Let's see.
Time to cut down this dust devil. Here's the first one. That's going to be plus 18 to hit. And that's going to be 11 damage.
11. Okay, so as you go to hit, you see this basically shred in front of you with that first strike, and it's sort of, again, like pieces of paper are just starting to fall towards the ground. It's a particular manner in which they're made. And you are now no longer facing off with number 1. Number 1 is completely gone. That leaves you with 3 Billwiths. You do have, standing next to you, though, however, 2 who is on top of Zira.
Okay, yeah, I was kind of curious where everybody was there. It sounds like we're all in a big clump.
You're in a clump at this point, yes.
Okay, so I'll turn to the closest one and make a offhand attack, and I will use the Zephyr Strike advantage for this one, as well as get the D8 for it. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be like a 25 to hit.
Yeah,
and
that'll hit.
So, that's going to be 10 damage to that. 7 of that's force.
Okay. So yeah, you see this creature, it starts getting You said force, right? Yep. Okay. So it starts, you see shavings of it start to come off from your second attack. As you take her, the one that is near Zira, it's still upright, but it is not as pulled together as once it was. Gervain, it is now your turn. You have this one still on top of you. You and Lazar have been hacking away at it. Or at least little
Here we
Zara's been
go.
helping. Let's
Oh,
see.
That's a 15.
We'll hit!
All right. So that's going to be 5 piercing damage and 5 necrotic for me. And then that's going to be 24 for Zar for his bite and 23 for his slashing attack. Jeez, Zar is just on fire today.
He is.
5 for his bite for damage, piercing damage, and 7 for his claw slashing damage.
All right, so the two of you finally falling in sync together between your attacks and his bites and slashes. Again, it's almost like a confetti party that's just been created as this billows goes. And again, the pieces of reeds and grass and corn silk just sort of float above you. It almost looked like it was snowing, but weren't more of the greens and yellow tones of this creature as it falls down to the ground around you, which means that number 4 is down, which leaves us only with Billis 2 and Billis 5. 5 is still Hardy and Hale. 2 has taken some damage. Aoel, we are up to you, and you are the one who has 5 on top of you who has not been damaged yet.
Well, heck, I think I might have to do something about that. I haven't been
think
happy
so
with how
too.
I haven't been happy with how the digital rolls are going though. So I am gonna
So
use
zero
physical
damage.
dice.
Okay,
15.
we'll hit.
Alright, and that's for Eldritch Blast, which does how much damage? D10. D10. Heck. Almost 1 point.
Oh, okay. Don't you still have your inspiration?
I do. I couldn't figure out how
Just
to
a
take
reminder.
it off.
If you
How
want
does
to
inspiration
reroll your,
work again?
well, for me it says basically for your rerolls for an inspiration. So if you want to do it for your attack damage, you're welcome to use that for your attack damage if you so choose, or you can keep it for a different roll.
Oh.
It's totally up to you.
Yeah, we'll use it for the attack damage.
Okay.
It's a 6. It's better.
Hey, it's better than before. Okay, so
Yep.
your Eldritch Blast does strike, and you see this creature take on some damage. It's almost as if you've sort of singed it a little bit, and there's this dark streak now on one side of its form from where it has hit. And this leaves the 2 Bilwis, which means that they are going to go to strike. Slain, the one is going to turn towards Unitap because you've come out of nowhere, so rather than go for Zira, it's going to go for you. And that is going to... They're not rolling well tonight. Does it 7 hit, darling?
No, it does not.
7 does not. Okay, and then AOL, the one that you just singed and seared with your Eldritch Blast, it too is going to try and go to attack you, and they get a... Hold on. I was rolling... Does a 4 hit?
No.
No.
You're not that squishy.
So, yeah, you're squishy, but you're not that squishy. So both of them, they go wide, probably from seeing their companions go right in front of them. Now that it is done, Zira, it is your turn. You have the one that is with you and Slain. Slain, where did you position yourself? You might not be any chance flanking, would you?
I mean, if that's an option, a renowned swordswoman like Zira is a great sparring partner. So, yeah.
Right. So
I can
that
get
would
that
give me
one.
advantage, right?
Yes, it would.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's good. I finally got a dirty 20. So, feeling the pressure of protecting Awa, I finally get it together and make like a very graceful sweeping motion, right at the kneecaps. towards it. Oh, I need to roll damage. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I waiting for something? You're waiting for me, 5.
You got 5? Okay. So, as you go to strike, you see more of this being pulled away, and this creature is definitely not looking so lovely as it had before. It is still standing upright, though. And that takes care of round 3. No, round 4 on this side. We're going to round 4 with our group of Shreg and Maurice Faye fighting against Drosera. So Faye, seeing that shifting tabs, seeing that her arrow struck true, she is going to try again, and you could almost see her closing her eyes in relief and muttering, "Thank you, Father." And she's going to strike again. It is not it's not a crit, but it's another 20. So this time she is going to, with her lovely bow. Oh, she got full damage on that, so that is going to be 12 points shooting into the back of Drosera. And it's going to go right against where the other one just struck. Bear with me, folks. All right, and as this arrow shoots through, it actually manages to strike into her heart. And you suddenly see Drosera seize up, and her legs buckle, and she falls down to the ground in this look of stunned shock. And the last thing you will hear coming from her lips, Maurice and Shreg, is this "No!" as she collapses in a paralytic state from essentially having her heart staked by the arrow Phaedra Tora shot into her back.
Maurice is going to smile at her the whole way down.
Okay. Shreg?
Shrek's
What would you
hands
like
are
to
over
do?
their mouth. Like, oh, people dying. It's horrible still.
Okay. So, as you see her fall, Faye comes cantering up to the two of you, and she holds her hands out. Whatever you do, leave her like this. We can still get answers from this one. Do you understand? Keep her this way. She cannot do anything in this state. I want to know more. I want her confession. Are we clear?
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And then she will look over her shoulder and she's going to nod her head that way. Your friends are going to need your help still, as does my father. Which way do you want to go?
Probably
Maurice is...
circle back and make sure they're okay.
I mean, we're 4
I
on
disagree.
2.
I feel like they're going to be fine. I'm more worried about Finium.
Are you sure?
Come on, Shrek. Yeah, absolutely. They got Slane, they got Gervain, they got Zira. As long as Yaligath is safe, they'll be fine. Come on. Let's go find Finium.
Okay.
All right.
Well, follow Maurice.
Okay.
Maurice is going to book it.
Keep splitting that party.
So your round 4 comes to a close with Drosera essentially having been staked in the heart.
Actually, sorry, super quickly. I have one request. Based on the vision that he got from the gods, can I scoop... I'm assuming she's bleeding pretty visibly. Can I get, like, some blood? Try to collect some, if at all possible?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's so cold.
Put it into a bottle or a wine skin or a water skin, whatever I got. I don't care if I got to smear it on myself like war paint. That blood is going to be important.
Okay, you have gotten a sample of her blood. And you probably could go back and get some more if needed later on, provided no one pulls that arrow out of her body. Okay?
Oh, we'll be back.
And I'll be back. See, this is where the Arnold accent would have come even more handy. So we have it where Shreg and Maurice, along with Federata, are starting to go towards where you saw that Crimson Mist, as well as Finium and Cal. It will take you your full motion and then some to catch up with them at that point, which means we're going to shift back over to our Bilwis group. And we're going to start with Slain. You have the one that you are flanking with Zira.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And that's going to be a 17 to hit
Which hits?
and 11 damage for main hand. And then for the offhand, maybe not, 15 to hit.
That'll hit.
That's another 5.
Okay, and once again, you're quite good at whittling away these creatures, and it is this little wispy sprig standing in front of you as the rest of it has been basically chopped away and is now at your feet. Gervain, what would you like to do with the one? Go ahead.
Yeah, so first, do I see Maurice extracting some blood from that fell?
No,
Okay.
no,
Good to
not
know.
from where you are. Definitely not.
Got it.
Not unless you have Hawkeyes.
Okay. And then the ones that are in front of me, or the ones that are left, is one that's kind of damaged and one in front of Ewell. Is that correct?
The one in front of Ewell is kind of damaged. The one that is being flanked right now by not Shrek. Slain.
I've been doing it all night. I'm just gonna remake the character art.
Somebody wants.
Toby, yep. So, for you, Gervain, it is obvious the ones in front of Ewell is definitely a little bit more vigorous. So, up to you if you want to try and get the one who looks like it's almost handled by Zira and Slain, or go assist Ewell.
Go assist Ewell.
Okay, so then let's start getting those strikes in and see how you do.
Yeah, 11 for Gervain.
How about Little Czar? Wait, do you still have your inspiration left? Or did you use it?
Yeah. I just want to use it for something more important. Saving it.
We're also getting close to the 11th hour, so let's just put it that way, my dear.
Oh, sure, we'll use it. That's a 12. Nope, we're just. All right, now it's Czar's. Now it's Czar's turn. That's a 10, which doesn't hit, and that's an 8. Nothing hits. We're good.
I think it's almost like the eager puppy syndrome. You're both so eager to help out Ewell that you just can't quite make the contact as you hoped. Ewell, you have these two now assisting you. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna attempt that Eldritch Blast again.
Okie dokie.
$13.
Will hit. Just hit.
Finally. A hit. Yes. 4. And then I'm gonna back up a little bit, but not out of threat range, so I'm provoking things.
Okay. And is that it for you for this one?
Yes.
Okay, so then the Bill Wisp is actually going to try and attack Gervain and Little Czar, because hello, they came out of nowhere and they tried to attack. And what is that? That is a 15 total. Will that strike Gervain?
It sure will.
It sure will. Okay, so it is going to actually go for Little Czar, feeling a little bit more intimidated by such a creature. And
I'm going to give it disadvantage if possible.
What was that?
I'm going to give it disadvantage using my shield to kind of parry. It's like a distracting thing for protection, fight or feet thing.
All right, so if I had disadvantage, I have to be rolling again for that one. Okay. So let me see if we can get another one in. That is going to be I just rolled a 20, sir. That's a
So
crit.
what are the two
on it.
rolls?
One was a 15, the other one was just a crit and then some.
Okay, well, if it was disadvantage on one of the rolls, then it would
Be the 15, so we're going to proceed through with what I was originally going to do.
Sure. Just...
All right, so then that was going to be 13 points bludgeoning against Little Czar.
Good to know.
And that is its turn, and then Ael, you see this happening. Slain and Zira, the one you have, it's going to attempt to attack you, Slain, and it is definitely going to miss because it just rolled an 11.
That's a shame. I'm really hoping I'm
All right.
die this time.
All right, and then Zira, you are up next, and you do have advantage because you have Slain flanking for you.
Okay,
mute?
okay.
There we go.
Am I
Okay,
still muted? Am I good?
No, you're fine. You're good. You're good. You're
Okay.
back.
I'm here. It will be 21. So as I'll take another longsword hit, and as I like come across its kneecaps, I'll spin around and I want to just like shove the sword into its lower spine area.
Okay.
And that will be 9.
All right. So, as you stab it in the back, this is a trend for this evening. You see you're able to pull your blade up and through, and basically, like you would with a piece of celery, cut it as if it were a stalk of celery, and it fans open and rolls down and just falls apart into two pieces. That takes care of the second Vilwis, number 2, Vilwis, leaving you with just the one that is on top of Gervain and Zira. We're going to pause here for a moment as we quickly go back up to Maurice, Shreg, and Faye. As you are cantering up, or running, or trotting, whatever type of running you want to be doing to keep up with each other, you see that Finium and Cal are attempting to battle this crimson mist, and as they get closer, or as you get closer to them, you see that this amorphous mist is not quite so billowy and fog-like as it was before when you first saw it. Instead, it has taken on a humanoid form in that of a woman, and you see it's pulling itself further and further back in attempts to get into the darkness of the forest and the shadows that it's creating, keeping it away from the sunlight. And you can hear the shouting going on between them. You hear Finium say, "Come out and fight us. You come to kill my people, I will kill you." And Cal shouting, "You shall not be such a coward. You shall be brave. If you have come to fight, fight." And then, as you get within earshot of all this happening, you hear this voice, almost dripping in saccharine sweetness. "Yes, but you see, that would require me to do something stupid. And I've already figured out what I can get from your clan. I already have my own. What do you have that'll actually stop me?" And you just see almost this smirk-like swirl develop on this face, this nondescript face. And again, this figure steps back a little bit. "I have existed for millennia. I may not quite be the powerful lady I once was. But just watch and see. Just wait and see. I have plans for you. For each and every one of you. This isn't over. It's never going to be over as long as I'm here." And she takes one more step back. and fades into this darkness of the forest. And you see Finium desperately trying to get one last shot with his bow. And it misses. So you see his arrow about to strike where her form was last seen. And it smacks right into a tree. You hear the boom of the arrow vibrating. And the last thing you're hearing is this laugh of that voice as she says, "Let the name Lady Valemouth stick in your ears. It won't be the last time you hear of me." And you stand there, shoulder to shoulder, Maurice. Well, Shreg maybe needs his shoulder. With Finium and Cal staring at this space where this crimson mist in the form of a woman had once been. Dracera is lying paralyzed in the middle of the field, unaffected by the sunlight, yet clearly vampiric. A stake in her heart as delivered by Faye. And Zira, Aol, Gervain, and Slain, you turn your attention to this last Billwisp, who suddenly, for some reason, seems to stop all motion and looks panickingly between the four of you and attempts to escape and run away, giving you each an attack of opportunity because you have it surrounded. So please roll and let's see if we're able to do some damage. Slain, what did you get?
So I got a 19 to hit and 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay. Who's ready with theirs?
So for Gervain, it's going to be 13 to hit. It's going to be 10 piercing damage and 6 necrotic, and then 19 for Zar and 7 damage for piercing.
Okay, and then Zira, what did you get?
I got a 16. And then I got... Can I use one of my superiority die to make a trip attack? Which means I get to add extra damage, so it would be 9. And then they have to make a DC 13 saving throw.
Which they make that. Okay, and then Aowell, you have one as well, as this creature tries to flee the four of you.
This was formerly a friendly type creature, right? That was possessed by the mist.
It was never friendly. It was never friendly.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
It
was just running across on its way. What did you get?
10.
A 10 will not hit. So as you're attempting that last blow, the last thing you see is this ragged wisp of this creature attempting to make its way back into the farmland. And you hear, "No, watch toots!" as Mama Rihanna tosses a flame towards this creature, and it burns up in smithereens, leaving the four of you now free of these creatures. And she's standing there, this little lady, hands on hips. "Why didn't anyone tell me the fight was on? Let's go!" And she points her hands, gesturing towards where you saw Maurice and Shreg and Federata start making their way. And as you all gather back together, Finium looks at each and every one of you with this grim determination. "We have a hostage, and we have a target. May I rely on you to help me with both?"
Yeah, of course. That's why we're here.
And he'll look to each one of
Yeah.
you.
this must play out, yes.
You are all in agreement?
Absolutely. I don't know the whole story here. I don't know the whole truth of what's meant to happen, but I can't help but feel we're on the right path.
I say today we made some headway. But now, I want to know what the hell that girl was thinking. And he points down the way towards where you see Drosera's body paralyzed. And as he walks past each of you with his shoulders squared, he makes a point to make eye contact with each of every one of you and nodding his head. And you see him deftly scoop up the body. Well, she's undead. But the paralyzed body of Drosera as he turns and carries it towards the longhouse. Eowyn, you feel Cal put his hand on your shoulder with a look of concern. And Zira, you see Faye look at you with a smirk of camaraderie. How many did you take down? In this grin of, you've both been in battle and you've both come out on top, sort of joking. And Mama's going to be standing there almost as if she's shooing a bunch of chickens.
Let's go! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Answers to be discovered, things to find out. Good job. Oh,
Do any of them look like Henrietta?
There's no chickens. She's shooing you in like chickens.
We are the chickens.
We're the chickens.
We're being herded.
You're being herded by a little 5'0" crazy cotton-haired tough lady. And we will leave it for episode 16, season 1, with our heroes making some fantastic strides this evening. They have managed to capture the very target which they had been seeking, and now able to hopefully start questioning. And while that crimson mist has made itself known, they at least now have a name and an ability to start seeking it out and get a better idea of how to defeat this thing. So, what we're going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, is we're working on doing some very special bonus episodes between season 1 and season 2, where we get to do some fantastic backstory exploration. I'll get the words out nicely, I promise, with my wonderful players. And hopefully we'll be starting things back up in the January timeframe for Season 2, Episode 1 of The Last Heir, A Tale of the Old Margreave inspired campaign here on the Kobold Press Twitch channel. So I'm going to go back around the other way, and I would love to hear from each one of you where we can find you, what you're up to, and what you enjoyed about the campaign so far, even if it's just something from this episode or something in general completely. And Jesse, we're going to start with you. No pressure.
My name is Jesse. I play Maurice, the pantheist priest cleric. You can find me on Twitter as @JesseNeon or occasionally on Twitch as Pungeons and Dragons. If you want to know what I'm up to, it's this. It's a book. I made it, and you can buy it. And that's about it.
Fantastic. And what about your favorite part so far of the campaign or from this evening?
Campaign as a whole is really too hard to pick, but for this evening, absolutely that vision given to him by the gods, that's going to be stuck with me all over the holidays. It's going to be like seeing family and friends, like, hey, how's your Christmas? I'm like, blood coming out of the walls, like it was like sap, but it was thicker, and like a set of horns. And no one's going to have any idea what I'm talking about, and that's fine. I'm just going to sit there and obsessively rock back and forth and repeat the words over and over. I'm sure it'll be okay. It'll be a great Christmas. Like a fourth set. Like who do they belong to, right? Like a fourth set.
Just don't tell them I'm your DM who put that image in your head. Thank you very much. All right, fantastic. And now we're moving on to the lovely and wonderful, talented Kai.
Hi, I'm Stonefly_Kai on Twitter and Instagram. And I am involved in this show, obviously, and then the Faeforged Academy is going to be starting right after the holidays. Those are pretty much my two big things right now, and I'm really excited about them. Before I say what my favorite was, I just want to say thank you to V for all the work you put into this. This has been one of the best campaigns I've ever been a part of, and just the character creation and the vivid storytelling is amazing. So thank you. My favorite part was kind of seeing all the characters develop. It was really fun tonight, especially with Shreg's story tonight. I enjoyed seeing like Slane kind of have all these like, oh, there's people in his background, and you know, it's the Pumpkin Man and Baba Yaga, and seeing Ewell kind of grow into like this like not sacrificial but kind of sacrificial druid with like this like huge purpose is really cool. So that's been really fun.
All right, excellent. Now we're over to you, Jim.
Hey, doing great. I am WebDM Jim. You guys can check us out over on YouTube, where we've got a whole bunch of videos and stuff. But the campaign, wow. I first of all love the setting of it. Is just absolutely amazing. I love that it's like so focused on this one place. And I mean, I love all the other like Baba Yaga stuff, obviously, but just anything where there's like, now we've got Rava, now we've got apocalypse gods mixed, thrown in the mix, and I mean, like, honestly, Gervain, Zira, you guys gotta, multi-class cleric, warlock, something. Just get yourself a supernatural patron, just fine, So,
you want them to become paladins?
I mean, they could be paladins. They could be any number of things that you could. Yeah.
Your stuff.
He wants them to become indebted, is what it is.
Yeah.
You have another time for it.
No, it's great fun because the character is really fun to play, but also just like it's only fun to play because of the setting and the rest, everybody else, and the NPCs. So it's like a whole package deal. But it's very it feels like a fairy tale a lot of times. That's what I like about it.
Excellent. Wonderful. And then moving up to Torn Pixie.
Hi, I'm Torn Pixie. You can find me at Torn Pixie Twitch on Twitter and Instagram, and then you can find me here at Torn Pixie, as well as on TikTok, where I do somewhat cringy roleplay stuff sometimes. Otherwise, I've got a guide on captioning streams that I wrote for multiple mic stuffs, such as this and podcasts. Otherwise, I do a lot of Magic the Gathering and D&D myself, definitely on weekends with the D&D now, though. So, yeah.
Excellent. And favorite part?
Oh, gosh. I'm supposed to choose how? It's all been really, really good.
If you want to pass, you're welcome to say pass. I'm not going to force it.
I mean, there's that, but there's also like the entire development of the group too, like from coming together and kind of not sure how we necessarily all knew each other, but we're in this bar together for whatever reason, and then now it's like, hey, don't hurt my friend, or I'll have to like kill you or something. So it's cool.
Agree. The unity is amazing. Wonderful. Okay, now, darling Michael, it's up to you.
Okay,
Aw.
so Michael Sinclair. My internet stuff is Michael Crits, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. What I have going on is I'm going to be on Faeforged Academy next year, the podcast with Kai, so that's going to be something to look forward to. There's already stuff online about the character, which is going to be like a teenage warlock. Awesome kid, really cool. Can't wait to voice him. Let's see. And then I also have, similar to Ewell, I do Dungeons and Dragons, and I also do Magic the Gathering, which is going to be my personal channel. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow morning, so keep an eye out for that. And my favorite thing is how Gervain interacts with the rest of the party. And like, he was originally just like, all right, tank of the party, got to keep everyone safe, was definitely about group dynamics, and then as like many promises happen, I don't know, Gervain took a turn. Like, I don't feel like it was me, but he was just like, I need freedom. I'm a wanderer. You know, Ghost Knight, I just love absolute freedom. And having everything kind of seem impinging on him, I didn't know he was probably going to seriously consider at some point perhaps leaving the party. So finding out if that happens or not happens, but that's where he is. So that's been very interesting. And yeah.
Very cool. All right, and long time no see. Gnome.
Hi. Oh, wow. It was so good to be back. Like, I miss this family. Just, it's such a good game, and you're such a great storyteller. It's just, yeah, I loved it. I loved every moment. I loved it so much that I forgot that I was actually in it. Just watching you all play. It's like, this is pre-recorded. It's fine. Oh, wait, no. I have to do something. Oops. I've never done that before. So that's how amazing you all are.
Aww.
Oh, yeah. So my name is Gnome. Thank you so much for having me. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. I am all over the place on the internet doing all sorts of things in the TTRPG space. Most things are pretty chill because it's the winter season, or it's December, I should say. For the winter season, though, I am coming back on several shows. You'll find me on the Unmade Gaming channel, but I can't quite talk about that show just yet. It hasn't been announced, but I'll be there. You can also find me in a Teens in Space game on Little Red Dot's channel. I am super, super excited because I love space so much, and I will be producing a space game as well using the Coriolis system, and that'll be probably more towards like February or March. Plus, I'm in the Rise of the Demigods podcast, which is usually released on Wednesdays or Mondays. I don't really remember, but you can check it out at demigodsfall.com. That's right, yeah. That's the thing. For my favorite things, oh my god, this goes so long. I love you all, and I love what you have done with, like, because we've all played D&D before. I'm assuming we've all played D&D before, but I don't think we've all played in Midgard.
D and what?
What?
Pathfinder? This is a Pathfinder?
I thought this was Smash Bros.
But right. But kind of what like Jim was saying, Midgard sets such a different tone for how you can play D&D. So being able to see some of these extra things from like the subclasses or the races or the spells or the feats that are more supplemental from your typical, 5e core rulebook has just really been a treat. I, for one, love anything Clockwork. I have just devoured all the Clockwork content. It is by far my favorite stuff. So to then be able to meet Rava, like, that was just such a pure moment for Shrek, but it was such a pure moment for me. It's like, I don't think I've played in a campaign where deities are so involved or could be involved. So that was just, I love that. That was great. Thank you for that gift.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't want to tell you who you're meeting tonight. I'm like, I have something for you, but I'm not going to tell you what. Oh, excellent. All right, so these are my wonderful, fantastic, talented players. I cannot wait to start playing again and for you guys in January. Again, we're going to figure out this whole backstory mini episode thing that we're going to try and do on the in-between. And follow us everywhere on the socials to stay up to date with that one. You know, it might be helpful. You can find me on my YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, where I show you how to paint miniatures and make miniature terrain for your tabletop role-playing games. You can also find me, I'm extremely active over on Twitter. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram. I think those are the big socials for me at this point. You can also find me here every Sunday night as DM for The Last Heir, and every Thursday night over on Mini Terrain Domain on Twitch, playing Catriel in the Dawnbringers. So that is it for tonight. I am being used. Thank you for spending the evening with us. Truly, truly enjoy each and every Sunday getting to share all of these things with you, which is quite frankly My favorite part is seeing everyone interacting not only as players in the game, as PCs in the game, but also as people in the chat, just back and forthing and bantering with one another and really following the progress of this fantastic story we've created together. So that being said, in case we don't see you, happy holidays, everyone. I hope you have a lovely time, whether you are celebrating, whether you're taking it easy, whether you're just saying nope and going to a tropical island. Please take me with you. But yes, just take care, have fun. I look forward to seeing you all, whether it's on the socials or back over here. For now, we are going to sign off, and yeah, that's it. So goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Die in your sleep.
Actually, don't.